Is this the house? It is. How do you get it out? I want to go in there straight.
Heidi and I have been through hell together.
My bad. Oh, I'm pulling up the covers. Oh.
No mom should ever have to go through what she's gone through.
Happy Mother's Day to everybody out there. I thought that ad was a good way to start it on Mother's Day. I hope all the mothers out there had a great day. All of you sons and daughters were able to speak to your mothers if they're still with us and maybe spend some time with them on this day, which is very important to mothers. It's the one day that, even though you should give them recognition every day of the year, it's the one day where, they get the recognition they should get every day. So yes, happy Mother's Day to everybody. I want to thank everybody who's here. It's a late show. I kind of threw it together at the last minute. I wasn't going to stream tonight, but I said, what the heck, why not throw a couple things out there. We do have, let's say hi to everybody who's here first. I hope everything's working all right. For some reason, the intro I heard no sound when I was playing the intro. Yes, Brian's here. What's up, Brian? Thanks here. And yes, Brian did already unleash Bella for the evening. Brian already unleashed Bellavision. So he donated $25 on the PayPal there. So there's Bella. Thank you so much, Brian. Steve Hilliard, great to see you. Muffin Rando, awesome to have you here. Bella Cam is activated, yes. And let's see, Renee Collins, yay, so glad to see you. So glad to see you too, Renee. Yes, I already hit the like button. Mr. Sneaky Sean, good to see you. Happy to have you here. NASCAR Mo, hey, how you doing? Great to see you. Roselle Jam, what's up? Good evening. How you doing? So I heard the Virginia Senate wants to permanently disband the Supreme Court. Can they do this? I don't know if they could do it, but what they want to do, they're talking about. We'll talk about it a little bit later. They're talking about changing the age to like making it 54. That you have to retire at 54, which seems insane. That would be insanity. It would be insanity if they try to pull it off, to just disband the entire Supreme Court and put a whole new Supreme Court in. But that's what fascists do. That's what totalitarians do. And that's what they are, commie fascists. G Sharkman, what's up? Great to see you. Thanks for being here. Terry, happy to have you here. Jay Marco, awesome to see you. Joe, sound is 5x5. Thank you, sweet daydreams. Hey, Jim and Bella. Yeah, thanks to see you here. YouTube keeps kicking you out. What you're watching, you're going to scream. That's horrible. Lady Bama, awesome to have you. Iowa Backyard Cams, what's up? Thank you. I'm going to try to have a great show. Make sure everybody hits that like button. Catherine K, awesome to see you here. Happy Mother's Day. Hank, happy Mother's Day. Thanks for being here. Hank, on your business. You're not here yet? Well, then how did I see you? Clue Battery, what's up? Pam Graham, awesome to see you here. Happy Mother's Day. You love the last shows or the late shows, is that what you're saying? Kofi, too. Hey, what's up? I'm Kick. How you doing? Great to have you here. Hey, what's up, Better Man? We are an awesome family. I support you all. Thanks you. Jason Fisher says, good evening, Jim. What's the next steps for Iran deal? Look, we're going to get into it. There's some stuff. You heard that too. Yeah, that's what they are, despicable. Ginger, what's up? Happy Mother's Day. Great to have you here. Yes, Rebel Flag, all that stuff. Gypsy, happy Mother's Day to all the mamas and some dads too. That's right. The people who do all that stuff. What the F is here too. Hey, what's up? Great to see you. It's Uncapped Turtle. Do you want to come on, buddy? You want to come on the show? You can come on the show if you want, Uncapped. It's up to you. I was supposed to say late show, stupid autocorrect. Hey, what's up? So, yeah, so Bella's here. There is a goal like there is every night. I'll just cut right through it real quick. The show's going to be about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. We're already $25 into the goal. So that means we are only $75 away from adding a first additional hour. And donations can be taken across Cash App, PayPal, Rumble Rants, Super Tips, Super Chats on YouTube, becoming a member or gifting memberships. Also, Locals Coins, Kick, and Twitch. Can't tonight? All right. Anytime you want to come on, just let me know. So, yeah. All right. Let's get into the first news story of the evening. So, Iran delivers war end shipping security response via pack of Stanleys. So, the left-leaning outlets from the U.S. emphasize Trump's peace plan, right-wing coverage. So let's see. We got. I'm sorry. I don't have everything all. Like I said, I threw this together at the last minute. I just got the topics together and. I'll pull some news stories from each one. Just look at this. See, wow, that's a lot of stories. Well, all right, let's do this. Iran response.
Straight to Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yingst. He is live in Tel Aviv with the latest. Trey, tell us what is happening in this high-stakes negotiation and appeal to Iran.
Yeah, guys, good morning. Reports indicate that Iran has responded to the U.S. peace proposal to end the war, giving their response to Pakistani mediators. Now, initial reports in Iranian state media indicate their response focuses on ending the war and ensuring security in the Strait of Hormuz. There is no mention of Iran's nuclear program, a key agenda item for the Trump administration. Now, this comes as we're also tracking reports of a cargo ship that was targeted off the coast of Qatar earlier today. We understand an unknown projectile hit the vessel that was 23 nautical miles northeast of Doha. That, according to the UK Maritime Agency, the explosion caused a small fire that is now under control, according to reports. The incident, though, highlighting the latest in a series of events in the Persian Gulf and Strait of Hormuz that show Iran is testing the fragile ceasefire.
From our perspective, a naval blockade is considered a military act. And a military act receives a military response. Let them understand this. From now on, they should assign several additional escorts to their destroyers so that if one of them starts sinking, they can at least rescue and evacuate their naval forces.
Okay.
With
That's
the
what you
region
think?
waiting to see the details of this
That don't
Iranian
look like
response,
that looks
President
like
Trump shared a series of AI images overnight depicting Iran's navy at the bottom of the sea. President Trump was asked over the weekend about the expected Iranian response, saying this.
Do you think they're slow rolling it? Do you think they're intentionally slow rolling the process?
We'll find out soon enough.
This hour, we're also tracking developments of Iranian drones over both the UAE and Kuwait, an indication Iran is continuing its attacks against Gulf countries. Guys?
Yeah, Trey, so this response coming, do we know who is sending this? Is this coming from Khamenei or Parliament? Who's sending this message? What can you tell us about what's happening inside Iran?
What's interesting is late last week, Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian indicated for the first time publicly that he had met directly for more than 2 hours with Iran's new supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei. And there was also an interesting post from state media this morning, and I want to pull it up for you. It's from a top reporter inside of Iran saying Lieutenant General Abdullahi, in a meeting with His Eminence Ayatollah Saeed Mojtaba Khamenei, presented a report on the preparedness of Iran's armed forces, encompassing the Army, the IRGC, law enforcement, security, and border guard forces, the Ministry of Defense, and the heroic Basij. This is an indication that the Iranians are trying to signal that if this response to the mediators in Pakistan and ultimately the Trump administration is not sufficient, that they are prepared if this leads to a resumption of the bombing campaign, which would also see an increase of attacks by Iranian forces. And so Iran is signaling that they are prepared to return to war. The question now is what was in this response presented to Pakistani mediators and whether or not it is going to address the key issue that President Trump cares about, and that is ensuring that Iran never has a nuclear weapon.
Trey, let me ask you about the Israeli response. Obviously, because we're just getting information that it was sent to Pakistani mediators, they may not have all the information. What, if anything, can you tell us about what's coming from Bibi Netanyahu and his team?
Hey, Philip, how you doing?
The Israelis are bracing for the reality that if these negotiated settlement attempts fail, the region could imminently return to war, which would include missile fire toward Israel. But we're also tracking other developments as it relates to Iranian proxies across the region, like the Houthis, Hezbollah, and Hamas. And I spoke earlier today with a senior advisor to Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Michael Eisenberg, who said this about efforts to disarm Hamas inside Gaza.
I'm very optimistic about President Trump and the Board of Peace. I think they are the first administration and the first institution that very clearly sees Hamas for who they are. And they very clearly assess the situation for what it is. Hamas, who they are, unrepentant, non-compliant terrorists who we gave a chance to bring along the rest of the world and the mediators. They also see that Gaza, without a total remake, without getting rid of Hamas, without getting rid of the weapons, is never going to provide a better life for the people.
The bottom line here is that advisors to Israel's prime minister indicate they believe in President Trump. They think he is clear-eyed when it comes to not only the threats from inside Gaza, but also from Iran's largest proxy, Hezbollah, in southern Lebanon, and of course from the Iranian regime itself.
Wow. So, yeah, of course Israel's going to, what's Israel going to say? They're going to start talking crap to Trump? That's not going to work out well. Okay, Jay Liebgott, great to see you tonight. Look at this. Brian Ogden gives him one gifted Jim Tells You membership. Thank you so much, Brian Ogden. That's awesome. And let's see who got it. It's where's it at? Oh, there it is. It says Iowa Backyard Cams received a gifted membership from Brian Ogden. Well, that's just awesome. That's awesome. That means right now we are exactly where are we at here? 69, dude. We're $69 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. Thank you all so much. The reporter's in the sky. Yes, he is. Thank you so much, Brian Ogden. When you spit to talk. I don't know what that means. Oh, what's up, America First? Hello, everyone. This Iran war is a shit show, as I expected it would turn out to be. It's dragging on, and our objectives aren't being met. Well, you know, like I said, if you remember, this has got to be over it's got to be over before July, man. It's got to be over before July. It's got to be over before July. It's got to be over before July. If not, it doesn't matter. If it's not over by July, it's a problem.
Guys.
You know, Trey, it's very clear that President Trump wants to get what he wants out of Iran, which is for them to denuclearize, but also wants to wrap this up. There are a lot of domestic concerns he must be thinking about. We've been talking earlier that the map definitely has moved more in their favor in terms of seats, but I think he would definitely like to see gas prices lower, something that the country would like as well. So what is the indication that you're getting from the administration? I know a couple weeks ago you were on the phone with the president. I know you have a lot of sources. How anxious are they to get this deal done? And how much does the upcoming trip to China play into that?
It's a great question. I've talked to President Trump a number of times throughout this war and during a very challenging time for the region. And the president seems quite clear-eyed on what the objective is of Operation Epic Fury, and that is to ensure that Iran never has a nuclear weapon. Because when we think back to the negotiations that were happening before this operation began, the Iranians came to the negotiating table and they told U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff that they had enough highly enriched uranium to create 11 nuclear bombs. And this was a signal to President Trump that A, not only were the Iranians prepared to pursue a nuclear weapon, but B, they had the capability to do so. And so the president has very much presented this to the world and especially the American people as a trade-off, understanding that there may be a challenging moment that could see a brief increase in energy prices, in the price of fuel. But ultimately, this would lead to Iran not having a nuclear weapon that
Russia and China.
Allies
Russia and
across
China.
the region like
Russia and
Israel, but
China.
also U.S. forces and allies in Europe, and in the future, possibly the United States.
I believe they have 8 kids. I believe her and her husband have 8 kids. Her husband, I believe, is the transportation secretary, Duffy, right? Who's keeping the Iranians fighting? Russia and China. That's just the only thing. Russia and China is the only thing keeping them fighting. And you know, sheer, religious fervor from the IRGC and the mullahs.
Given Iran's efforts to increase the range of their ballistic missile program. And so the takeaway here is that the president is patient. And Israeli officials, I spoke with an intelligence official late last week who said that the president's patience is a card that he has at the table with Iran, because the Iranians thought that President Trump would back down. And ultimately, he entered into Project Freedom. He was able to block Iran's ports and put new pressure economically on the regime that is forcing the Iranians to respond to these efforts of peace by the Trump administration.
So what would a deal have to entail or include in order for this to be a win and enough for President Trump to end this?
The president has indicated he does not want a partial deal. And so if the Iranian response is only focused on ending the war and looking at the Strait of Hormuz and the traffic through this critical waterway, it's not going to be enough, according to President Trump. He wants to address the nuclear threat from the Iranian regime. And that means getting out the already enriched uranium, what the president refers to as nuclear dust that is buried deep underground in the Operation Midnight Hammer that occurred last summer. That enriched uranium is still there. Also ensuring that the facilities to enrich uranium are dismantled. And then ultimately getting that enriched uranium out of Iran and pledging that the Iranians will never resume a military nuclear program. And these are key agenda items for the Trump administration and its top negotiators, Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff. We do know over the weekend that Secretary of State Rubio, along with Special Envoy Witkoff, met with the Qatari Prime Minister in Miami. They are working with regional partners to ensure that there is a full court press, putting this pressure on the Iranian regime, understanding that Iran has 2 options here, according to President Trump. Either they sign on the dotted line or the war is going to resume.
All right, Trey Yingst,
Awesome.
great
Thanks,
update.
Trey.
Thank you so much for that.
Thanks, buddy.
So Iran sends a response proposal. Iran has formally presented to a pack of Stanleys a response to the latest U.S. proposal to end. Who is running Iran? I guess they're claiming it's the gay Ayatollah. Iran's formally presented to a pack of Stanley mediators in response to the latest U.S. proposal. The pack of Stanley brokered ceasefire between Iran and the United States, stopped nearly 40 days of warfare. How long would continue to talk Iran about the nuclear program? What's the timeline? If they keep playing games, like if they keep playing these games and just trying to delay, they're going to have to resume the bombing campaign. It's going to have to be more serious. I mean, I can't see it going any more than a couple more days until it's going to have to get started back up again. I mean, that's all the guys are hiding underground. Yeah, they're hiding in caves and stuff. I mean, they're, I think they're just, maybe they're waiting to get locations on them. I don't know. So the report of the response followed news that Qatari natural gas tanker crossed the Strait of Hormuz on Sunday, marking the first time since the war started that Qatari LNG tanker had transited the strait. The tanker was en route to Pakistan. So maybe that's why they let it through, because they knew it was going to Pakistan. Hey, Diamond G, what's up? Great to see you. Kofi says, son of Ayatollah. It's the son. It's the gay son. But supposedly he's hurt really bad. You know, I don't know. There's been no video, no recording, no nothing of him. So we're just going off of what they're saying. And we have to, they've reported, and you got to take it with a grain of salt, because Iran has reported numerous times that they've, sunk our ships. They've done this, they've done that, and they haven't done it. So the Strait of Hormuz is one of the world's most critical energy routes. It carries about 25% of the world's seaborne oil trade. A Qatari tanker getting through after weeks of disruption suggests Iran may be allowing limited passage, which could signal early diplomatic progress or at least a temporary easing of tensions. The United Kingdom stated Saturday it was deploying the HMS Dragon, a destroyer, to the Strait of Hormuz. The HMS Dragon was previously in the Eastern Med, and its move to the Middle East follows France's deployment of a carrier strike group to the Red Sea as Britain and France joined forces to protect the vital trade route. I think they're mainly protecting the Red Sea and the ships that are going to be leaving from the Red Sea going south through the Gulf of Aden and north through the Suez Canal. I believe that's what they're doing. They say he's really badly burned. Yeah. Kuwait Army posted on Sunday that it detected hostile drones in its airspace. A spokesman for the Kuwait Ministry of Defense, Brigadier General Saad Abu Ladazaz al Katabi, stated that the armed forces detected at dawn a number of hostile drones within its airspace. The Kuwaiti Army said the hostile drones were dealt with in accordance with established procedures, which means they were shot down. Sent over Biden to jibba jabba with them. Yeah, Suez and the Red Sea. That's what I'm thinking. France and England are doing, is protecting that, because basically from the Houthis in Yemen. The United States and Iran has maintained an uneasy ceasefire since April 7th, so it's been almost a month, but the United States has maintained a blockade since April 13th. Trump says Iran's response to the peace proposal is totally unacceptable. Are we on ceasefire until we can locate the targets? I would say that's probably the case. We're not calling it. We're just still saying it's a ceasefire until it's not a ceasefire. President Trump on May 10th rejected Iran's response to the latest peace proposal. I have just read the responses from Iran's so-called representatives. I don't like it. It's totally unacceptable, Trump wrote on Truth Social. Trump's reaction was shared on social media hours after Iran submitted its official reply to the latest proposal aimed at permanently ending the war. The Epoch Times reached out to the White House for a further comment, but did not receive a response. The IRNA, Iran's state-run media, says that the current negotiations should focus exclusively on just ceasefire, cessation of hostilities, not in the other issues we should talk about later. That's not acceptable. You think Trump thinks the blockade will be enough to get them to play ball? He's wrong. Well, I mean, I think some people told him that if we could stop them from doing business, selling any oil, that it would cause them to collapse. I don't know how long they can hold out. I don't know what other types of deals. Like, they were selling a bunch of drones and stuff to Russia, so maybe Russia's owes them money. Maybe Russia's keeping them afloat. Who knows what other deals they have going on with China? Who knows? Maybe China will float them money, or Russia will float them money until they can get them the oil. I don't know if oil's. I don't think there's any way for them to get oil out by land, like if they had, like through Pakistan or through Afghanistan or anything like that. I don't think they have that capability. Iran's response is focused on efforts to end aggression on all fronts, including Israeli attacks on Lebanon, and to guarantee security of shipping in the Persian Gulf. Hey, Brooklyn, what's up? Good to see you. Have you watched the 60 Minutes episode tonight with BB? Great episode, and BB handled himself very well. I did not see it. I did not see it. But covered all the issues. Okay. A significant point of disagreement remains over the control of shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. Like, yeah, they can't have control. Iran knows the rest of the world is hurting because of the blockade. They believe time's on their side. What? Why is it saying it lost connection to my other camera? What the hell is going on with StreamYard? There's nothing else using the camera. What the hell are you talking about? What the fuck is going on? I don't know what's going on. I had weird stuff happen with my computer earlier today. I think it's a driver. I think I'm having a driver issue or something. I had something earlier that said there was a driver problem. Gas prices are going through the roof. They're still not, I mean, they're still not as high as they were in 2022, 2023 is from what I've seen. So, I mean, they're not, you know, we should be better off here because we have the oil. I mean, maybe we should stop sending so much. YouTube and StreamYard have been acting up the last month. Iran state TV said the country indicates ready to reopen the strait if the war ends permanently. The first phase of peace negotiation must concentrate on shipping and sanctions. Yeah, see, this is what the Iranians just want. The Iranians just want sanctions relief. They want money. They want us to relieve sanctions. They want us to give them money, and you know that's not going to happen until everything is settled. Like if they want sanctions relief and they want money, they're going to have to give up their nuclear program. Hey, what's up, Steve? Great to have you here. Thanks for being here. Yeah, just remind everybody, please hit the like button if you haven't already. We got 100 people watching right now and only 54 likes. So that means half of you people here haven't hit the like button. So, you know, that's the least you can do is just hit the like. Hey, what's up, Celtic Spirits? Nice to see you all again. Nice to see you too. I heard something about internet cables in the strait were becoming an issue now. Yeah, they were talking about they might cut them or something. I don't know. The pack of Stanleys who brokered the ceasefire stopped 40 days of war. Iran's been playing games with the United States and the rest of the world for 47 years. Delay. Trump wrote, for 47 years, the Iranians have been tapping us along, keeping us waiting, killing our people with roadside bombs, destroying protests, and really wiping out 42,000 innocent, unarmed protesters and laughing at our now great again country. We'll be laughing no longer. With inflation rate included, 2008 during the crisis was over 220 a barrel. Iran is China's proxy, same as North Korea. Damn it, Jim, I actually didn't hit the button. What button? What are you talking about? What button? Report of the Iranian response followed news of the Qatari natural gas tanker crossing the Strait of Hormuz. First time since the start of the war, the Qatari LNG tanker got through. It was going to Pakistan. So like I said, I think the Pakistanis probably said, hey, we need this gas. You got to let it through. Oh, the like button. Yeah, hit the like button, man. Hey, right on, gal. What's up? Popped in quick before bed to say, hey, screeches for Bella and happy Mother's Day to y'all. Happy Mother's Day. That's right. On the way to bed. Good night. Well, thanks for being here and happy Mother's Day to you and all the other mothers out there. Freedom in Iran is the leftist point of view. What an evil religion. So yeah, please, please hit like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. So they deployed the UK and France sent ships to the Red Sea. Kuwait said stuff about the drones. I can hear Bella snoring. Can you guys hear her snoring? Trump says they'll be laughing no longer. Trump rejects their peace deal. Totally unacceptable. Especially if they get the commies back. Yeah, if they get the commies back, we got problems. Freedom and Islam don't go together. No, they don't. Another, look at that. Bella's paw looks different. One of her paws is, well, there's a paw and then there's a toy there. But she chewed a nail off, so it's just a quick on her back foot. I don't know why she did. Brian Ogden with another gifted membership. Thank you so much, Brian. Jeez, man. You're just going to town. Brooklyn received a gifted membership. Brooklyn 10952. Thank you so much, Brian. With that means we are now just $63 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. Thank you so much. Get the demon rats back in charge. Could get them to sell the U.S. out and surrender. Yeah, that's what they would do. She is a heavy puppy. She is. So Trump calls it totally irresponsible or unacceptable. He warns of a decisive, immediate response to British or French warships. Iran warns of decisive, immediate response to British or French warships. Oh, so okay. So if they fire on British or French warships, I think they'll have to make a decision if they're going to let that stand or if they're actually going to fight back. IRGC is warning they're going to unleash a heavy attack on U.S. bases if more aggression persists. Brian, what's going on, man? Another? Thank you so much. Cesium Cat received a gift of membership from Brian. Thank you, Brian. Welcome, Cesium Cat. That means we are now $57 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. Yes, thanks, Brian. So this is the Polymarket says the chances of a permanent deal by June 30th is at 39%. It was 51%. Now it's at 39%. I think it's gonna. I mean, this stuff is just a joke. The way they do this stuff. Iran offered to transfer some of its stockpile of highly enriched uranium to a third country, but rejected the idea of dismantling its nuclear facilities. Well, that's crazy. Yes, Brian says, "Love you all." Yes, just as Brian. And then America First with 5. Jim tells you membership. Wow, thank you so much. Can you get a membership? Well, let's see. Let's see who got Brian's. Let's got America's First. Trumpinator comes through. America First. And it's Carmen, not Electra. Mr. White, ID 6KT. Greer Love America. Greer I Love America. V-Tubing Enthusiast and Fat Potato 49 all received gifted memberships from America First. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, America First. Wow. That means right now we are just $27 away, folks. Just $27 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. Wow. Thank you guys so much. Yes, thank you so much. America. Amazing. America First. Congratulations to all the gift recipients. Iran disputed a report and a fragile ceasefire is still holding for now. Iran says we'll immediately strike French and British if they approach the strait. Well, that would be stupid. But, here's the thing. If they attack the French or the British, who are not part of the war, I think that would automatically make NATO come involved because they attacked a NATO country who wasn't involved in the war. I think. Maybe. Hey, Leslie Ann. Morning. Thanks for being here. Fat Potato Crans. Ryan Gall says, nice job with the gifts, y'all. With that, I got to hit the hay. Bicycle, y'all. Oh, thanks. Thanks, America First and Brian. Thank you. They further declared the Islamic Republic alone controls security in the strategic waterway. I don't think so. And Minister Kazim Gabardabadabi issued a warning on Sunday. Whether in times of war or peace, only the Islamic Republic of Iran can establish security in this strait and will not allow any country to interfere in such matters. Well, I guess they just haven't been beat up enough. They need to get smacked around. You can't let this cannot go on. This is not acceptable. Unacceptable. Said France plans to deploy its flagship carrier and the Charles de Gaulle and to the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden, while Britain plans to send a warship to the area under a stated goal of protecting freedom of navigation. Already, these Western ally assets are moving through the Suez Canal as of days ago. Do we think we'll see another Trump proposal? You can't. That's the thing. You're just negotiating with yourself if you keep making offers and changing things when they're not agreeing to anything. So you just got to make the offer. This is the best offer you're going to get. If you don't take it, we're just going to blow you up. Any deployment and stationing of extra regional destroyers around the strait under the pretext of protecting shipping is nothing but an escalation of the crisis. Oh, no, it's an escalation of we're not going to let you hold the world hostage. The militarization of the vital waterway in an attempt to cover up the true root of insecurity in the region. No, Iran is the true root of instability in the region. Iran is. Brian Ogden with another gifted membership. Timeline must be given. Yeah, you got to give them a timeline. You got like a deadline. If they don't meet it, then that's it. They got to. That says Jerry Mars. Jerry Mars received a gifted membership from Brian. Thank you so much, Brian. Will France and UK run away with their tails between their legs? I hope not. That would be very bad. Oh, you're right. That right now we are $21 away, just $21 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. Yes, Kimby, what's up? Thanks for being here. Yes. Iranian lawmaker says Tehran's restraint is over. Oh, okay. The restraint is over. Oh, okay. Is negotiating with yourself a sin? That's just bad. It's just a bad idea to negotiate with yourself. There'll be sudden attacks in those countries. It might be. France and Britain have previously sought to clarify that their warships remain largely in a background support role when compared to U.S. naval blockade. Their ships would only directly join Persian Gulf operations once the war ended, according to reports. Yeah, so they're still being what's the word I'm looking for? Oh yeah, pussies. Trump said Iran has been playing games and the rest of the world for 47 years. They won't be laughing much longer. Well, America first. If someone else step up and show Jim some support, well, they don't have to. You guys do so much. I appreciate it. It's greatly appreciated. I really appreciate it. I love that you guys love the show and want it to go longer and longer and longer. But anyone who can will, and that's it. There's QR codes posted in the chat if people want to donate with Cash App. There's PayPal there. This is Cash App. There's also they're pinned in the chat also for anyone who wants to. So Iran's reply includes ending the war on all fronts. Iran want to brag how they're a rich country. I think that's why they want rich uranium. Can't brag with poor uranium. Good point. Good point. Sources in both camps have told Reuters the latest peace efforts are aimed at a temporary memorandum of understanding to halt the war. Is that kind of halted now? I mean, if they're not going to give up their uranium, if they're not going to stop attacking ships in the strait, then it's a war. Celtic says, as if Islam dies without innocence gone, the evil cult religion would put bombs on women, pedophilic religion with no morals, pink mist babies they would worship. Sorry for the R-rated truth. Well, they are, they were founded. I say that the religion based on conquering, subjugating. That's what they're built on. People have to recognize it. We'll never bow our heads before the enemy. Okay, well. They want to make a deal. We had very good talks over the last 24 hours. It's very possible we make a deal, he said. So, and then they warned an attack on any oil tankers or commercial ships will be met with assaults on U.S. bases and enemy ships in the regions. Okay. Iran will no longer allow passages that are harmful to its interests. Okay.
The spokesman of the Iranian army says countries that comply with the U.S. sanctions against Iran will surely have problem crossing the Strait of Hormuz. Brigadier General Mohammad Akramian says this is a strategic gain for Iran and can effectively neutralize anti-Iran sanctions. The general told Iranian officials news agency IRNA that the U.S.-Israeli war led the Islamic Republic to exercise its sovereignty over the key waterway. He added that the war made Iran tap into the geopolitical potentials of the Strait of Hormuz. Akramian said the country will no longer allow passages that are harmful to its interests. The general said the U.S. used such passages to establish and equip bases that were used against Iran's national security. The spokesman noted that the Islamic Republic has maintained its military power despite the war. He added that more surprises, including more advanced ordnance, tactic, and more importantly, more theaters of war are in the cards if the enemies do another miscalculation and resume their aggression.
Wow. Wow, interesting. They're accusing the U.S. side of severely violating the ceasefire earlier this week by firing on and disabling 2 Iranian flag tankers trying to reach Iranian ports. Oh, there's a blockade. I mean, it's kind of a thing. You can't have if you have a blockade and a ceasefire, kind of the two things are kind of like incoherent with each other. And said the aggressive terrorist and marauding U.S. military has targeted Iranian oil tankers sailing from Iran's coastal waters near Jask towards the Strait of Hormuz, as well as another vessel entering strategic waterway near the UAE port of Fujairah. The spokesman also said civilian areas along the coast of Bandar Kamir, Sirik, and Kashem Island came under aerial attacks carried out with cooperation of some regional countries. Well, they fired at ships and stuff, so that's why Iran says, "Stop touching me." That's what they're doing. They're like this. We're not touching you. We're not touching you. We're not touching you. We go, no, we're touching you. And then they go, stop touching me. Iran still thinks it owns the Strait of Hormuz. Yeah, they do, but they don't. I mean, something got to give. Something's got to give. So they reported earlier an official update that the Supreme Burrito, Motaba Kabeni, has been moderately injured but is recovering. What's up, Shalathiel? On Sunday, he also met with top military commanders and a meeting with leaders. Sayyad Mochabi Khamenei, commander of the Qatam al-Naba Central Headquarters, Major General Ali Abdolali, presented a comprehensive report on the preparedness of the powerful armed forces of the country. Wow. That's, these guys that look like they're play acting. Abdolali said all fighters of Islam possess high readiness in terms of morale. And they're ready to confront the hostile actions by the American Zionist enemies. He warned that if enemies commit any strategic mistake, aggression, or invasion, Iran forces will swiftly, intensely, and powerfully respond. That the armed forces would, with full obedience to his orders, defend the ideals of the Islamic. Now you want a burrito supreme? I was thinking about a Crunch Wrap Supreme, extra crispy. They're going to defend their beloved land of Iran, sovereignty, and national interests. During the meeting, Khamenei praised the country's armed forces and issued new directives for continuing action and confronting enemies following the 40-day U.S.-Israeli war against the country. The USA is calculating its next move, and all hell is going to break loose. That's what I'm thinking. I can't see this holding like this. A government official claimed Khamenei, who hasn't been seen in public since the attack, is now in good health. However, there's still a lot of speculation on his role in the decision-making over whether he will ever make a public appearance. They will be laughing no longer. Trump said they've been playing. So this is all the same stuff. This was two separate stories. Iran's been playing games. We read all this. Trump said that former President Obama handed Iran hundreds of billions of dollars on a silver platter, which they did. They sent him plane loads of cash, pallets of cash. So Iran's been playing games with the United States and the rest of the world for 47 years, and then they finally hit pay dirt when Barack Hussein Obama became president. He was not only good to them, he was great, actually going to their side, jettisoning Israel and all the other allies and giving Iran a major and very powerful new lease on life. Hundreds of billions of dollars. Yes, Navy, never again volunteer yourself. Become a patriot. That's right. Hey, KPT says, hi, I'm late fees and PayPal. Well, thank you, KPT. Thank you so much. Wow. That's awesome. Thank you. That 5 from KPT, that means we're just $16 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. I want to thank everybody who's been so generous tonight. You have another one sitting on your counter. Another what? Crunch Wrap Burrito or Burrito Supreme? Yeah, hit the like button. Help Jim. Yeah, Eastman Farms, great to see you. Yes, remember, just hit the like button. Hit it. Tap it. Tap, tap-a-roo. Tap it in. Tap, tap-a-roozy. Tip, tap-a-roo. Tip, tappity, tap, tap, tip-top-to-ree. Mini taco salad. Oh, yeah, mini taco salad. Oh, yeah, those are good. Yeah, $1.7 billion in green cash flown into Tehran was handed to them on a silver platter. Every bank in D.C., Virginia, Maryland was emptied out. It was so much money that when it arrived, the Iranian thugs had no idea what to do with it. They'd never seen money like this and never will again. It was taken off the plane in suitcases and satchels. The Iranians couldn't believe their luck. They'd finally found the greatest sucker of them all in the form of a weak and stupid American president. He was a disaster as our leader, but not as bad as sleepy Joe Biden. For 47 years, the Iranians have been tapping us along, keeping us waiting, killing our people with their roadside bombs, destroying protests, and recently wiped out 42,000 innocent, unarmed protesters and laughing at our now great again country. They will be laughing no longer. Yes, hit the like button for mom. That's right. BOGO, buy one, get one. Oh, that's good. I made myself shrimp scampi, broccoli, and angel hair pasta. Meanwhile, Iran continued killing Americans with roadside bombs. They've never seen money like this. He was a sucker. We saw that. So, many Democrats are a special kind of stupid. Well, that seems like a good story. I almost want to read that just to see what it is. Trump rejects Iran's latest peace deal. Totally unacceptable. This is all the same stuff, I think. This is a picture of Vanter satellite image from June 2025 shows tunnel construction activity near Natanz and underground complex in Pickaxe Mountain. Is this after we bombed it or before we bombed it? Doesn't look too bombed to me. The response came as U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Michael Walls, said that the dismantling of Iran's nuclear program is a very clear red line. Oh, Hank's going to bed. It says, good night, people. Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Mom. I made meatloaf and fried potatoes. That's good. I like meatloaf. Yeah, sweet dreams, Hank. Good night. Yeah. What's up, Spuds? Great to have you here. Trump also stated Iran can't be allowed to develop nuclear weapons, with the president vowing on Sunday to do whatever possible to confiscate the nuclear materials. We'll get to that at some point, Trump told TV's Full Measure with Cheryl Atkinson. And if someone walked in and they can't tell you his name, his address, the number of his badge, we'll have it very well surveilled. And if anyone got near the place, we'll know about it and we'll blow them up. Benjamin Netanyahu echoed Trump's warning, saying the Iran war cannot end until while Tehran's still working on a nuclear program. It's not over because there's still nuclear material, enriched uranium, that's been taken out of Iran. What is he talking about? There's been material taken out of Iran. Is this the interview? Oh, here we got the interview. Should we watch the interview with Trump? Or the interview with Bibi? All right, here's a clip from the interview. We got a clip from the interview with Bibi. We'll watch that real quick.
Is the war with Iran over? And if it isn't, who will decide when it is?
I think it accomplished a great deal, but it's not over because there's still nuclear material, enriched uranium, that has to be taken out of Iran. There's still enrichment sites that have to be dismantled. There's still proxies that Iran supports. There are ballistic missiles that they still want to produce. Now, we've degraded a lot of it, but all of that is still there, and there's work to be done.
How do you envision the highly enriched uranium will be removed from Iran?
You go in and you take it out.
With what? Special forces from Israel? Special forces from the United States?
Well, I'm not going to talk about military means, but what President Trump has said to me, I want to go in there. And I think it can be done physically. That's not the problem. If you have an agreement and you go in and you take it out, why not? That's the best way.
What if there isn't an agreement? Can it be taken out by force?
Well, you're going to ask me these questions. I'm going to dodge them because I'm not going to talk about our military possibilities, plans, or anything of the kind.
And I'm just trying to get at how long is it going to take to achieve that aim?
I'm not going to give a timetable to it, but I'm going to say that's a terrifically important mission.
Terrifically important mission. I agree. Spuds with the gift of membership. And it said that Made in Hell, not Made in Hell, but Made in Hell received that gift of membership. With that, that means we are now just $10 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. Thank you so much, everybody who's been so generous tonight. Ground invasion, maybe. That's what it kind of sounds like. Made in Hell, welcome to the show, but I suspect you're not here right now. Way to go, BB. Yeah, great answers. Yeah, so don't tell them what. Well, BB rubs people the wrong way. Have Hillary make a deal. She did with Russia. Well, Hillary will just tell Russia to have it. BB Six Fingers. Just tell Russia to take it. That's what will happen. Let's see here. We got this interview with Trump and Cheryl Atkinson.
Defeated, but that doesn't mean they're.
One story that has the world's attention.
So is it accurate to say you think the combat operations are over and done, but there
No,
may
I
be...
didn't say that. I said they are defeated, but that doesn't mean they're done.
We cover concerns foreign and domestic.
How do you feel today about the Republicans' chance in the midterms?
Hey, Dan, what's up?
And
Great to
even
be here.
tackle all American issues.
All right, well, I'm not going to, let's see. I just want to hear the answers.
An interesting evening, but I felt very secure, and I think Secret Service did a very good job.
The judge apologized to the suspect for the treatment that he's gotten in jail.
Well, I heard that, and then after watching that, they went back a couple of years, and he was very apologetic to another suspect who I didn't even know about, but he was also, the same judge was very apologetic to somebody else having to do with a similar subject. And not even believable, actually.
On Iran, would you say the war is over? Is it paused, or is it very much active?
Well, they're militarily defeated in their own minds.
Okay, I mean, Trump, they're still fighting. They're still launching drones and missiles at people. Come on, let's be for real here. They're still fighting. If they were militarily defeated, they wouldn't be able to stop anybody from going through the Straits of Hormuz. They wouldn't be able to shoot at us and shoot at other ships. Come on. Let's real talk. Don't do this. Yes, they're not defeated. They're not defeated yet. No, they're not defeated. Hey, Neil, what's up, buddy? Thanks for being here. Awesome outfit.
Maybe they don't know that, but I think they do because I deal with them. And we cannot ever let Iran have a nuclear weapon. But they are militarily defeated. They have no Navy. They have no Air Force. They have no anti-aircraft weaponry. They have no radar. They have no leaders. Their leaders are gone.
They cannot lodge a real campaign, though, right?
The first
well, they can't. They could still kill people. They can still do stuff. I mean, to say that they're defeated, though, is not accurate. It's not. That's not accurate. It's not an accurate thing to say, because they're not. They're still launching stuff. They still have ballistic missiles. They're still able to strike their neighbors. They're still able to strike commercial shipping. I mean, if they were defeated, they wouldn't be able to do anything. They would be like, I mean, maybe I'm being too literal, but I just don't, and especially with stuff like this, when you got lives at risk, people dying, well, a real campaign would be, I don't think they can sink any of our ships. They haven't been able to yet. I don't think they could defeat us. The only thing that could defeat the U.S. would be the U.S. deciding to give up and not do it. So the reach is a runner's distance. No, they can reach out. I mean, they have missiles that could hit Europe if they wanted to. In the glass, half empty or half full, Trump always sees it as full and overflowing. Yeah. Spuds with another gifted membership. Thank you, Spuds. Wow, man. Rally time. Yes. That means right now, folks, we are only $4 away. We are only $4 away. And Patrice J, a 3481, received the gifted membership from Spuds. Thank you so much. Well, Jim is the new expert on military tactics and strategies now. I'm not an expert. I just don't know. I mean, I could look at stuff and I mean, I've read operational manuals and I actually served during a war. So I don't know. I mean, I have opinions. I just don't see them being able to do these things. Maybe they could. I was in the military. Brian for another 2. Thank you, Brian. We're only $2 away. Oh, we were 4. I forgot to change it. We're 4 away, and now we're 2 away. We're $2 away, folks. Well, I'm not sure I care about Europe since they kept us out. This is like claiming Japan was not defeated at the end of World War II because some soldiers were still trying to fight. I don't think that's it's not the same thing. They still have a cohesive military. They still have a bunch of missiles. They still have drones. You know, I mean, and they're not just like it's not just an occasional like they could just throw a couple drones here and there or a couple missiles here and there. They're still able to hit their neighbors. They're still able to attack people. There was a bunch of drones in Kuwait. I don't know. I mean, I support Trump. I voted for him 3 times. I want the straight dope. I don't want the fluff. That's all.
The A team is gone, the B team is gone, and part of the C team is gone. But I think we're dealing with people that have a certain power. It's very interesting because, they make a deal and then they break it. Then they make a deal, they break it. It's a difficult group. But from a military standpoint, I mean, if we left today, it would take them 20 years to rebuild.
Where are we in the war if we've not yet gotten the nuclear materials, the enriched uranium from them?
Well, we'll get that at some point, whatever we want. We have it surveilled. I did a thing called Space Force.
See, I don't know how much that's true because that's what they keep saying. I mean, that's the story. That's why when they attack something, they go, "Oh, well, that was not us. That was just this group that did it." But yet it keeps happening, and it's been happening. Let's be real. It's been happening almost every day. They're shooting something at somebody. At some point, you have to say enough's enough. I don't know. They overstated their success in the attacks. Well, yes, they overstate their success in the attacks, but they're still launching attacks. The reporting coming from our government is that they still have 40 to 50% of their missiles. So if they still have 40 to 50% of their missiles, I mean, a lot of them they claim are probably under rubble and trapped in caves and they can't get them out right now. They have to dig them out. But, if they're defeated and they can't do anything, then why didn't we take Carg Island? Why are we not just running up and down the strait left and right? I mean, I'm being 100% real here. I'm not like there should be free traffic across. If they were completely defeated, they should not be able to stop anyone transiting the Strait of Hormuz. But right now, they're stopping people from transiting the Strait of Hormuz. The better analogy would be Japan in late 44 can fight and inflict damage, but unable to reverse the momentum. Of course, this was back when the U.S. was not pussified. Yeah, that's what I would agree to. Hey, Joe, what's up? Great to see you.
And they are watching that if somebody walked in, they can tell you his name, his address, the number of his badge. No, we have that very well surveilled. If anybody got near the place, we will know about it and we'll blow them up.
So is it accurate to say you think the combat operations are over and done? But there
I didn't say that. I said they are defeated, but that doesn't mean they're done. We could go in for 2 more weeks and do every single target. We have certain targets that we wanted to, and we've done probably 70% of them. but we have other targets that we could conceivably hit. But even if we didn't do that, that would just be final touches. But even if we didn't do that, it would take them many years to rebuild.
Few politicians, I think, would be prepared to take a political hit on something as important to so many Americans as oil and gas prices in the short term, even for something very important in the long term.
Yeah.
The political and media climate, I don't think they really allow for this sort of thing. They want immediate reactions and responses to things.
Well, I think it's easy when I.
Well, we hit the goal. Thank you so much, Brian, for the $2.
Tactical assessment. Red Chinese victory. Impossible. America will never fall to communist invasion. Communism is the very definition of failure.
Thank you so much, Brian. That means we are now $100 away from a second additional hour of the show. Thank you, Brian. What's up, Rod? Awesome to see you tonight, bud. Oh, look at that cute puppies. Look at them. Thank you, Brian. It's easier to give Iran pallets of cash than to take a political hit. That's why we're in this position. Yeah. There we are. Thank you, Brian. Yeah, I agree. Goal. Thanks, Brian. Thank you, Mr. Ogden. Morning, Doom. What's up? I think there are many things we don't know, both good and bad. Yeah, probably. W defeated the Chai Commies. We defeated the Chai Commies. Well, it's always fitting that Brian gets the official goal. He's such a great contributor. Yeah, Brian gave a lot tonight. I mean, the 25 on PayPal, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 gifted memberships, and then another $4. I mean, Brian gave a lot. That's 6 times 4, 24. Yeah, Brian gave over half the goal tonight, all on his own. You didn't talk Joe into a show tonight. You feel part of the problem. We defeated China? No, I don't. I mean, China's suffering because of stuff with Venezuela and stuff with Iran. I mean, that's widely known. Brian gave like 70. Yeah, he gave a lot. On the 25, so I'm trying to do the math on it myself. Quite a bit. I think 50 something was what I read. Let me see. 24 plus another 4, so 28. So 53 Brian gave, I think. PayPal is the best. Gifting is amazing too. Yes. Most likely a lot of missiles were hidden underground. They know where they are now, and we'll have to take another crack at them. Yeah, some of them are buried, like the stuff like that because they bombed the sites, so they're buried. So they got to get constructed to try to dig them out and stuff. I mean, also part of the problem too could be like can be a problem and should be a problem is at some point Iran's going to run out of people that actually know how to fire the missiles and how to arm them and how to operate the stuff. If you start taking out all the people that know what they're doing, you got, just because you got people that can operate a gun doesn't mean they can launch missiles or work the radar. Or I'm only good for 5% today. Well, thank you. Ryan's one of the most generous people you've ever seen. Yes, he is very generous.
Say it, and somebody like you says, answer that question and gives me a couple of seconds. It's really easy to answer. We cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon because they're crazy. We cannot let them have access to nuclear. Obama did it. If I didn't terminate the Iran nuclear deal, they would have had it, and they would have used it on Israel and the Middle East right now, and maybe beyond. They actually had rockets that you saw that the other day that could reach Europe. They would have used it 100%. And by the way, not 50% or 100%. They would have used it. They were dying to get it then. So I took Barack Hussein Obama's horrible Iran nuclear deal. I terminated it at my first term. Knocked out Soleimani, very important. If you didn't knock out Soleimani, I think it would have been a different country. It would have been more competent, but he was an evil genius, but he was an evil guy. The roadside bombs, etc., killed many, many people, maimed so many people, the legs, the arms, the face. So that was a big thing. I took him out. And then very big, I don't know, they're all so important if you think. I'm thinking which is the most, but when those beautiful B-2 bombers attacked 8 months ago and attacked their potential nuclear site, they would have had a nuclear weapon within 2 weeks if we didn't. That's why I had to go in. I knew that they were going to have a nuclear weapon. And we obliterated their, I call it the nuclear dust. There's a lot of nuclear dust. But
well, here's the thing, and that's another thing. Let's be 100%. We hope, everyone should hope, that the casks and stuff that this uranium was being stored in are secure and sealed still, that they didn't get, it's not just uranium dust everywhere, because if uranium dust everywhere in the caves, then it's going to be almost impossible to get it out of there. It'll take like a long time to get it safely. With, you know, people have to be all suited up and do all this stuff. They're still going to be all suited up, but if it's just like uranium dust just all over everything, just like coating everything to get it all, oh my God, that would be like a hazardous cleanup stuff that would take years.
Obliterated the site at 1 o'clock in the morning with no moon. You couldn't see a thing. And they went in and stealth. They went in and they did their job. They dropped those bombs and they landed perfectly, and it just obliterated. If we didn't do that, they would have already blown up Israel, in my opinion. Israel would have been blown up with a nuclear weapon.
What's next in light of all of this for the U.S. and NATO?
Well, NATO has proven to be a paper tiger. They were there to help. You know, this is the interesting thing is many of those NATO countries we don't use the Strait. We don't need it. In fact, boats are coming up to Texas, Louisiana, and Alaska and filling up with oil. We don't need the Strait.
Oof.
We were doing it.
If they find out that uranium came from Paducah, Kentucky, if it came from our mines here in the U.S., from from the U.S. to Russia, and then from Russia to Iran, that would be a major problem. That's why he wants it so bad. That might be why he wanted it, because they could test it. They'll know exactly where it came from. They know exactly by its makeup, the signatures and stuff. They know where it came from, where it was produced, where it was mined from, and everything. Bye NATO. Maybe. You think we'll be able to get it, or is it too buried? Well, I mean, they're going to try to dig it out, because eventually someone will dig it out. But you don't want them to dig it out. But I'm just saying, like, as long as it's still sealed in the thing, the holding container, the casks is what they call it. It's in, like, it's supposed to be protected. That way, it does, like really safe storage. As long as it's still inside those, it'll be easy to get out. If it's not, if those burst, then it's going to be a problem. Oh, well, thank you, KPT. She says, I donate when I can, because I believe Jim works hard to bring us the stories we need to hear, brings it with truth and fairness. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. I really do.
To help Israel and Saudi Arabia and Qatar and UAE and others. We don't need it. It's an amazing, we don't use it. We had 1%, and we did that as a favor. And we're now producing more oil and gas than Russia and Saudi Arabia put together. Think of that, Cheryl. If you take everything that Russia does, everything that Saudi Arabia puts out, we produce much more oil and gas than Russia and Saudi Arabia put together. And by the end of this year, that number will probably double.
On some domestic issues.
He does seem a little, like, I don't know, maybe it's just this interview. He does seem a little bit less peppy, a little less pep in his step, whatever you're going to say it during this interview. Like, he seems more like subdued. But I don't know. He is getting up there in age, 80 years old is no joke. Their fighter jets were bought from Nixon. I didn't know that. Well, the Shah of Iran was like our ally. They had F-4s and F-14s were bought from us. Yeah, he's getting old, lethargic. He needs some rest.
Is one of them a lot of people are interested in involving the NFL.
I don't really care about the NFL.
They ruin the game.
More with President Trump.
Bad policy, you know, if they had normal policy, they'd be a lot tougher, frankly. But when they have men and women sports, transgender mutilization of your children for everyone, open borders so that the world can pour into our country, criminals. We took in 25 million people over the Biden 4 years, and 11,888 were murderers, most of whom more than substantial.
Yeah, I think Barnes is losing his mind. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Barnes is losing his mind and slipping away. I've been seeing that. Barnes seems very erratic and stuff like that. So yeah, Barnes is saying that he's losing his mind. Yes, Barnes is losing his mind. He's slipping away. Barnes, terrible. I hope maybe Viva can take care of him, like put him in a hospice in his house. Carter screwed up a lot of things. Yes, he did. To me, he looks not that. He's not had time in a tanning booth, less orange. I think he used to always. I think he used to do spray tans. That's why it was like that orangish color. My father-in-law is 90s, a mechanical engineer, world-renowned, and still working 5 days a week, sharp as a whip. Hey, Critters, great to see you. Glad to get on a late stream. Oh, while I'm working. Well, I did it just for you. Hit the thumbs up, please. He's got a lot on his plate. It's extraordinary how productive he's been. Yeah, he's done a lot more. Yeah, Barnes is losing his mind. I know. At least Barnes realizes it. Maybe he can get some help. Keeping up with him daily takes stamina. I wouldn't blame him if he took a day. Yeah, he should take a day off. Oh, stop. He's dealing with multiple countries. Don't act weak. I'm not saying. I said Barnes is. Oh, Barnes is saying, not Barnes. Oh, I thought you said Barnes was saying that Barnes was losing his mind. Barnes! Yeah. Lunch will be over soon. He'll be lurking. Well, that's awesome. I'm not acting weak, for Pete's sake. Informing good people in the chat. I don't watch Viva Barnes. I just casually Viva on the weekdays.
More than 50%, committed more than one murder. Welcome to America. We took in drug dealers and people from mental institutions that would close up. They would empty entire mental institutions into our country. They would take a mental institution in a South American country, open it up, bring these people into our country, let them go, close the institution in whatever country it may be in, save a fortune. And Biden allowed this to happen. Now we have the strongest borders we've ever had. We have, as you know, for 11 months, they say nobody has come into our country illegally. You know why nobody tries? Nobody makes the trip up. The trip is not worthwhile because they know they're not going to get through. So once they know that, they don't make the trip. But we're running a great country. We're respected by everybody now. Again, we weren't respected. We were a laughingstock for 4 years. We were a very, very unsafe place. Murders are down now to the lowest in 125 years, the year 1900. But we were a country that was a dead country, and now we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. It's pretty amazing what we've done in a short time.
As straightforward as securing the border seemed to be once you got into office, it almost implies that another president could reverse it as quickly. Is there any way to protect against that in the future?
Yeah, vote Republican. It's very simple.
On Venezuela and voter fraud, there are Venezuelan engineer whistleblowers who have provided your administration, my understanding is, with a lot of information and documentation alleging vote rigging in the U.S. elections, including in 2020, through an operation engineered in part by our foreign adversaries and centered in Venezuela. Are you familiar with this information, and is anything going to come of that?
Yeah, a little bit. And, well, I'm familiar with voter fraud because we have a lot of it, I believe, coming up on the 2020 election. The 2020 election was rigged. When I used to say that, they'd say, oh, the cameras would turn off. How can you say? Now they don't. The information, a lot of it's already out there. The election was rigged. It was rigged. You look at Georgia, you look at Pennsylvania, you look at these states, they were rigged. It was a rigged election. And they used COVID to do it, and they used crooked, dirty cops to do it. They're dirty cops. Like you read about Comey. Comey's a dirty cop, bad guy, bad for the country, bad guy. But no, the 2020 election was rigged. Anytime you have mail-in voting, you're going to have a rigged election. Anytime you're not using voter ID, the Democrats don't want. They're fighting us on the Save America Act. Anytime you don't have, when somebody says we don't want voter identification.
Look, I'll tell you right now, it's coming out. I hope it's coming out. That's what we're saying. Supposedly, Venezuela was involved somehow. I don't know, something with Venezuela or something. I don't know. Supposedly that's what I'm hearing. I don't know. I want to see the stuff. I want people prosecuted. I want the truth to come out. No way I will ever believe that it wasn't rigged. When you saw what happened where it was like this, And then all of a sudden they go, oh, we're stopping counting. And then all of a sudden they just took back a batch of ballots. And then Biden goes like this straight up with no Trump votes in the head. It's like, and we saw the same thing happen in 2024, actually. If you paid attention, it happened, but it wasn't enough to overcome it. And that's how they stole the Senate seats in Michigan, in Michigan, I think Wisconsin, Michigan, Arizona, Nevada, maybe New Mexico, or where else? There was another one. Was it Wisconsin? Maybe Wisconsin. Michigan, Wisconsin. Yeah, 4 seats they stole. 4 in 2024. It should have been 57 Republicans in the Senate. Yeah, Pennsylvania got 600,000 votes at 2 a.m. Yeah, Venezuela, something with the voting machines. Yep. Yeah, Wisconsin as well. That's what I thought it was Wisconsin. Yeah, I thought Wisconsin. And yeah, that's right. There was a guy that was like way ahead, and then all of a sudden they just went zoop and passed him up. Truth.
That means they want to cheat. Then they say, we don't want citizenship. We don't want proof of citizenship. They don't want it to be a part of the voting process. And yet, when it comes to voting,
yeah, I saw that happen too with the California race with Adam Schiff and Steve Garvey. Steve Garvey was way ahead, and all of a sudden they just took these votes away. And yeah, Carrie Lake got robbed in 22. Yeah, she did. She got robbed. Plus, Trump was so popular, people were crazy for Trump before 2020. I didn't like him yet. I was in a minority. Yeah. And the press wasn't brave enough to expose it. Well, they won't. Then they use the same ballot machines. Yeah. Venezuela was using the same machines to rig it for Maduro and Chavez. Did anyone see the movie with Robin Williams running for president as a joke comedian? No, I don't recall that. You didn't vote for Biden? Well, if you didn't vote, someone probably. I mean, that's the thing. They were like, they just exposed. I saw a story the other day coming out of Michigan, like several 100,000 ballots that they were absentee ballots that had no envelopes, which are by law, they have to have an envelope. They had no envelopes. And they all came out of the projects, like 51 housing projects. All these ballots came out of the 51 housing projects. What? It's a statement to cheer the country on and keep people going forward. I don't think presidents ever say we're sucking right now. Okay.
Interesting thing is 97% of the Republicans want voter ID. But if you add the Republicans and the Democrats together, 86% want. Jimmy Carter, I mean, I wasn't a big fan of him as a president, but Jimmy Carter had a committee that was set up, and along with Scoop Jackson, some very respected people. And the primary finding of the committee on the election stuff, primary finding of the committee was can't have mail-in voting, it's crooked.
What's the latest with Cuba, and are there talks underway now?
Well, it's a failed country. It has been for years. And we'll take care of one before we take care of the other. But no, it's a failed country, Cuba, and people are living poorly. It's a bad experiment.
Are you or someone from the administration communicating with anybody?
Marco Rubio is doing it. His parents came from Cuba. And if we can help out, good. We have a lot of people, 94% of whom voted for me from Cuba. I did great with the Hispanic vote anyway. But Cuba, Venezuela, they all voted for me. You know, Venezuela is a very happy country right now. They were miserable. Now they're happy. Well,
oh, speaking of the Central America, South America too, I don't know if you guys saw, but Costa Rica had an election, and the new president in Costa Rica is saying she's going to be just like, what's his name, in El Salvador? Bukele. She's gonna do just like Bukele. She's gonna get rid of the judges and do the stuff, and no more games. She's going after the crime. It was called Man of the Year, the Robin Williams movie, Hollywood ahead of its time. Trump could be far along in his 3rd term by now. Yeah, could be. Yep, love Marco. Marco's doing a great job.
Being well run. The oil that's coming out is enormous, the biggest in many years.
Yep.
And the big oil companies are going in with the biggest, most beautiful rigs you've ever seen, and people are working. And Venezuela is a happy country. Everyone tells me they're so proud of what happened in Venezuela, and they're doing a good job. So we have a lot of interesting things that we've done and that we're doing.
Well, it has. I mean, it wasn't as bad as El Salvador, but yes, Costa Rica had a crime problem. You know, like it had a leftist government that allowed people to get away with shit. They allowed like drugs to pass through there. They allowed it to be a stop-off point. You know, people wanted to go there. I mean, that's why. Why do you think that the MS-13 guy, the Maryland man, what's his name, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, wanted to go to Costa Rica? Costa Rica has a Nicaraguan gang problem. Yeah. and she's going to solve that problem. Allegedly, that's what she says. She's not taking it. I think I have it somewhere. We'll talk about it in a minute.
You'll soon be heading to China.
Yeah.
How's your relationship with China's leaders, and do you have a top goal in mind?
My relationship is very good with President Xi. I don't know the other leaders, but President Xi is a good man, smart man, loves China. And I look forward to being there. We did this once before, and it was amazing. I think it's going to be an amazing trip.
Well,
that's good. Let's see. I wish they would tell us what they're talking about here.
But I look at these beautiful little babies, and they get a vat, so like a big glass of stuff pumped into their bodies. And I think it's a very negative thing to do. And I would like to see it. I'm not doing this in terms of Bobby or not. I hope they agree with that, but that's just my opinion. I would love to see much smaller shots, like 4 visits to the doctor. And I think you would have a much better result with the autism.
More with President Trump when we
Okay, so Trump talking about autism. What's this?
more widely on that front.
Well, I like him. He was on The Apprentice and he won. He's a good guy.
Is that a big issue with government taking land?
Yeah, a lot of people don't like that. It's not the greatest thing. But Tennessee Valley bothered me for another reason. And I have to look, but the person running it always, for years, got inordinate salaries. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did. We reported on that too.
Numbers that are crazy.
I think 26 times the salary of the President of the United States.
Yeah, like they get $10 million, $12 million. And I said, it's going to stop.
And you're trying to cap that to $500,000.
Yeah, I want to have it capped, yeah. So I put you on there if you could do that. It's I inherited all this stuff. It was so stupid, so crazy. Can you imagine? They take people that.
All right. Well, that's enough of that. That's a great interview. And so, I kind of liked some of what he was saying. I think it's good that he's got a good, this was a good interview for him to take with Cheryl Atkinson. She was spied on by the Obama administration. They spied on her, her and Catherine Herridge. She had lots of issues, but she broke a lot of good stories, if I'm not mistaken, back in that early, 2019, 2020 stuff, 2018. When they destroy the drug boats, it washes up on the Costa Rican shore. Yeah. The man with the AK was actually there to fend off anyone wanting to harm the area. Yeah, they do. It's a rhetorical interview. All right. So the next story here is the rare earth deal between the U.S. and China is still in effect. And that's what they say. That's what they say. That's what they say. Why is nothing coming up here? Here we go. A rare earth deal between the United States and China is still in effect, and an extension will be announced at the appropriate time, a senior U.S. official told reporters on May 10th. What new madness today? Well, a bunch of stuff. You see that Danny Ann's moving to D.C. to be a DOJ judge. Yeah, she's already moved there. I thought she said she was getting a job as a prosecutor for the DOJ. Maybe she's going to be a. They planted it out on her husband's computer, something like that. I know they did some stuff to her. Yeah, like real bad. Did the fish get high? Yeah, they do. Cocaine sharks. Yes. Was this the reporter who had her laptop seized by CBS? I believe so. It was either her or Catherine Herridge. One of the two. Are we selling Taiwan? We better not be. Texas is turning into Colorado. We all know what happened there. That's terrible. Danny Ann seems to be level-headed, so it could be good. Yeah, she's either. I swore she said she was going to be working as a prosecutor in the DOJ. Now, maybe I misheard. Maybe that's the wrong information, but I swore it came from her mouth. If she was going to be a judge, that would mean she would be like an immigration judge, which I don't. If she was going to be an immigration judge, there would be no reason to move to D.C. So maybe Maybe she got hired by Harmeet Dillon because, if I'm not mistaken, I think Danny has some connections. Like she knows Ron Coleman, and Ron Coleman obviously knows Harmeet. Maybe Danny has had dealings with Harmeet. Harmeet might know her. I don't know. But whatever, that's good. They need people. They should be looking for people that are, have the right persuasion, the right, mental mindset, the right perspective, and they should be bringing those people into the DOJ. The dingo got your baby. I hope not. U.S. President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping will meet in Beijing on May 14th and on May 15th. It's still in effect. It doesn't expire yet, the official told reporters, but it wasn't clear yet if the deal will be extended. I am confident we will announce any potential extension at the appropriate time. Mr. President, Mr. Trump, and Mr. Xi are expected to discuss the U.S.-Israeli war in Iran, trade, Taiwan, and other flashpoints with their two-day summit begins on May 14th, just 3 days away. Their last meeting was in October in South Korea, where they agreed to pause a bruising trade war that had seen U.S. impose triple-digit tariffs on Chinese goods, and Beijing threatened to restrict the global supply of rare earths. So that's a good thing. So hopefully, it works out. Like the U.S. should be looking more to try and get some rare earths of their own. They should be, we do all this stuff in these countries in Africa where they're with a lot of military in a lot of different places helping, tamp down the Islamist extremists and stuff. So it would make sense that we would make deals in these countries to get the rare earths out instead of letting China get them out. And part of the problem, though, too, is that there's the refining capability for the rare earths. Basically, China's got that on lock. Like we need to start building facilities in the U.S. that can actually turn the material. Like there's stuff that's mined in the U.S. and other countries mine it, and they send it to China to be refined. Like it needs to be done here locally. We need to, it's kind of like that story from last night about the Black Hills. That they were doing some exploratory mining in Black Hills to look for rare earths and different things to see what's there, see what it is. And lo and behold, they backed out because a bunch of people complained and said, "Oh my God, this is close to where we have like sacred lands." Which Rare Earth was a good band in the 70s. Yeah. So next story, Utah Supreme Court Justice Diana Hagen resigns amid relationship questions. So this is the woman who was the deciding vote that wrote the opinion saying that, yes, Utah has to have a Democrat seat. She basically was the one who did it, that forced a demon rat seat into Utah. So she was stepping down because it turns out that the guy who was suing to get the seat is also her boyfriend. We saw this. We talked about this. Virginia Supreme Court strikes down the plan. So a Utah Supreme Court justice has resigned amid a probe into the relationship with an attorney who worked on the redistricting lawsuit. Very sneaky, very shady stuff going on here. Justice Diana Hagen appeared to reference the investigation and the toll it's taken on her loved ones in a resignation letter to Utah Governor Spencer Cox. Spencer Cox is the rhinoest rhino around. Like he's pro-trans, all this stuff, for kids and all that. As a public servant for 26 years, I am keenly aware that public service requires sacrifice. I have willingly accepted those sacrifices for the privilege of holding a position of trust, which she broke the trust because she was having a relationship with a lawyer who was presenting a case in front of her. I understand that public officials are rightly held to a higher standard. What is this? It's the same story. Why are you giving me the same story in the story? Resignation was effective immediately. Hagen was accused by her former husband of sending inappropriate text messages to an attorney who helped challenge a Republican-friendly map that maintained our 4 red congressional districts in Utah. The ruling should be reversed due to the misbehavior on the bench. Yeah, should be. David Raymond, who worked on behalf of progressive voting rights groups in the case, was named as a lawyer in the complaint that an attorney for Hagen's husband submitted to the Chief Justice Matthew Durant and the Judicial Conduct Commission. Yeah. A judge picked the map, not the legislatures. Like this case should have went up to a higher court. Like this is not how it's supposed to work. Judges are not supposed to be picking maps. The Judicial Conduct Commission described on its website as an independent body comprised of several state lawmakers, judges, and members of the public. A statement issued by the Utah Supreme Court on behalf of Hagen said she took prompt, prudent, and transparent steps. My last involvement in a redistricting case was in October 2024. That's a lie. That is a lie. That is a lie. I voluntarily recused myself from all cases. She voted on it. In her resignation letter, she said she would love to continue serving on the bench. It's a lie. She voted on a conflict of interest. Yeah. Cox will be tasked with naming the replacement. Well, that's gonna work out just great for everybody. Not. Utah Supreme Court Justice resigns amid allegations of affair with lawyer in redistricting case. She's pretty young looking for a Supreme Court justice. So she resigned from her position because she had an affair with the lawyer involved in the case regarding the Utah redrawing of the maps. Hagen previously denied a conflict of interest, ended up recusing herself from cases in May 2025. The Judicial Conduct Commission was reported to have later opened an independent investigation. Hagen's resignation comes nearly a month after allegations surfaced about a possible connection between her and the lead attorney for the League of Women Voters. Hagen previously denied a conflict, stating that her last involvement on the redistricting case was in October. In May 2025, she voluntarily recused herself. They're all lies. Lies, lies, lies. Yes, Occam's razor is right. In her letter, she said her family and friends don't deserve the personal details surrounding her divorce subject to public scrutiny. Oh well. In April, Cox, along with Utah Speaker Mike Schultz and Utah State Senate President Stuart Adams, announced an investigation regarding allegations Hagen had an affair with Raymond. FYI, for all you not able to donate, just engage in the chat, helps promote the channel, get a YouTube name, not your own, and chat away. The algorithm will reward Jim. Yeah, hit the like button, share the channel. Tell your friends to come on by and hang out and get to know us and see how it works and all that good stuff. It's good, man. We're a good group of people. We like to talk and communicate and share ideas. Utah judge resigns. Supreme Court justice resigns amid probe into alleged relations with redistricting attorney. That's not good. Same thing. Let's see what legal insurrection has to say. Hagen recused herself from a redistricting case in September and from all related hearings. Yes. I don't buy it. In February, the Utah Supreme Court unanimously rejected the state's appeal of the redistricting and ordered them to use the state-ordered map. Raymond served as one of the lawyers for the League of Women Voters as a public servant. But why this didn't go up to the U.S. Supreme Court? It's just you're evil, so well, you're good. You're a good person. But why did this not get appealed to the U.S. Supreme Court? Is my question. Hagen's decision stemmed from renewing close friendships with Raymond and Cheryl Heyman, another attorney who is a shareholder in the firm where Raymond works. Yeah, so she's really good friends with these lawyers. She was pretty much cleared before she resigned. How messed up would it be if she used this to reduce alimony? Maybe, but like I don't. This should have been appealed to the U.S. Supreme Court. The complaint, which obtained through KSL's public records from a Provo-based attorney, said Hagen's ex-husband told the justice had exchanged inappropriate text messages with Raymond, one of the attorneys involved in the case about redistricting. Hagen strongly denies an allegation of inappropriate relationship of any kind. Called the allegations false. He does outside legal work for KSL and an attorney for the Utah Media Coalition, which KSL is a member. Judicial Conduct Commission conducted a preliminary investigation and interviewed Hagen's ex-husband, but ultimately decided not to investigate further. Heyman also serves as chair of the Judicial Conduct Committee. She recused herself from the commission's investigation. Her decision did not please Governor Cox, who launched their own investigation. They said the initial review of the Judicial Conduct Commission and the court left important questions unanswered, unresolved. Hagen's ex-husband claimed the text message between Hagen and Raymond started off as silly before becoming more suggestive. The ex-husband did not approve of attorney Michael Worley's filing of the complaint, but admitted it contained accurate details. She said, I was faithful to my husband for more than 30 years. I never engaged in anything prior to our separation. Oh, so she's not denying that she was screwing around with this guy. She just said, well, we were separated. I called him up and said, we're separated. And then she started screwing around with this dude. So.
Thanks for joining us here on Midday. I'm Matt Fonts.
And I'm Alyssa Royster. We begin today with breaking news. The Utah Supreme Court justice has resigned following accusations of having an affair with an attorney involved in Utah's redistricting case.
Yeah, that's right. The office of Governor Spencer Cox confirms Justice Diana Hagen submitted a resignation letter, making it effective immediately. Justice Hagen and the attorney for League of Women Voters, David Raymond, deny the allegations, but the public release of that report has Governor Cox and legislative leaders calling for a deeper investigation. Obviously, more information on filing and filling the vacancy will be announced in the coming days. We'll be sure to keep you updated both on air and online at abc4.com as this continues to play out.
Wow. All right. So I hope that this gets appealed. I hope this U.S. Supreme Court. It seems ridiculous that a state that like that Trump won by 40 or 50 points or something like that would have to be forced to get a Democrat district. It's not a minority district either. It's not a minority district. It's just they said, no, you have to do this because that they basically said that, you got to give Democrats a district. It's like, what? This should go to the Supreme Court. The fact that this it doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't. It makes zero sense why this was allowed to happen. What's up, Neuro? Great to see you. Thanks for being here. That's right. Hit the like, hit the share, hit the repost, hit the follow, hit it all. Hit it all. All right. Then we got this story here. It says email from Susie Wiles warning the White House staff about leaks is leaked. So Susie Wiles, she's the chief of staff. Not a fan, but whatever. Sent an email to all the staff in the White House saying, listen, leaks have to stop. You got to stop leaking stuff. This is very important. And someone leaked the email. What they should have did, the way they should have busted the people is they should have put something, tiny little thing that you couldn't tell. Most people wouldn't notice different things, like little umlauts or something somewhere. And then they could have caught the person. That's what they need to do. So on Friday, White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles issued a directive ordering staff to stop leaking to the press, warning unauthorized media contact will result in termination. Staff are now required explicit approval from White House communications before speaking with the media, which, yeah, of course. The directive follows mounting exasperation in West Wing over staff bypassing formal channels to share internal disputes. It's just nuts, man. It's nuts that this is going on. It really is. Vegas. Let's do this. Very frustrated. White House email cracking down on leaks is leaked to the media. This is just ironic. The effort to crack down on leaks was itself subject to the latest in unauthorized corporate media communications after an email from a very frustrated Susie Wiles made headlines. From the White House to the Pentagon to every federal office in between, President Trump's administration has worked to keep certain behind-the-scenes activity away from the media where necessary. Yeah, it's not supposed to be. These are private deliberations and stuff. People talking about things. The ongoing endeavor was evidently the subject of a March email from the White House chief of staff wherein Wiles made clear consequences of unauthorized leaks. Like I for the longest time, I thought it was Susie Wiles doing the leaking because she seems to be, I don't know, she seems to be let's put it this way. She's part of the Bush team from Florida. She was always a Bushy. You know what I'm saying? You seem a bit subdued tonight. What's up, dude? Well, no, I don't know. I was a little tired. I wasn't going to stream, but then I decided to stream, and here I am. I'm not subdued. I'm just trying to be more relaxed and keep my language under control, be more dignified. According to a report by Politico's West Wing Playbook, which has obtained the leaked email, Wiles insisted no staff member within the executive office of the president is permitted to speak with members of the news media without explicit approval of the White House Communications Office. Unauthorized leaks will not be tolerated or subject to sanctions up and including termination. You will be terminated. Bring in Arnold, and you will be terminated. Violation of this policy can result in significant disruption to ongoing operations and can potentially endanger missions and activities of national significance. Going on to cite person familiar with the matter, Politico's insider said she was generally very frustrated with the leaks. The outlet also made note of private instructions Wiles was said to have given to cabinet officials in April regarding their travels. According to a report, the key administration officials were to avoid unnecessary international travel and remain focused on implementing Trump's domestic agenda at home. You tempt me with a chat string of expletives. Well, you can do what you want. You're free. You're free to do it. It seems the Terminators are already here. The White House isn't alone in fending off leaks. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth has taken steps to limit considerable access to the media enjoyed at the Pentagon. While corporate media challenged the effort, government contractor Aurelio Luis Perez Lugones was charged with 6 felony violations of the Espionage Act in January after accessing classified information and providing it to the Washington Post's Hannah Nathanson. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Since she was said to have had used the classified information at least 5 articles between October 2025 and January 2026. In a statement to Politico, White House spokesperson Liz Houston said, regarding leaks, there are hundreds of White House staffers faithfully serving the American people, all of whom are held to strict policies, including a zero-tolerance policy against speaking to the media. Swear jar is too full. Yes, it's too full. Saving Jim from his F-bombs for future use. Jim's saving his F-bombs for future use. We got to move Jim to 1.25 speed. He's getting up there. Oh, okay. Hold on. Straight to jail. Yeah. Hit the like button. It'll make you feel better. Yeah. If we could get more, the more likes we get, like right now, we're like, we're only at 100 likes, and so we're not. If we got to get past 100, if you want, you got to get up to like 125 likes, and then that meant me be at 125%. To ensure the president's message is communicated clearly, accurately, and directly to the American people, you people have to stop leaking shit. Meanwhile, Wiles currently dealing with breast cancer diagnosis. Lolly's getting up there. Hey, Jim. Hey, what's up, Mark? Great to see you. What's this? The goat off Rumble. I don't know. Top richest elitist Egyptians. What is that? What is that? Or the hype button after the show. Yeah, do that. What's up, Savage? Totally. I can't. Yeah. So she's She was the recipient of the Woman of Valor Award at the Independent Women's 19th Award Gala on Thursday. During the event, she addressed her relationship with the media and said, "You have to grow thick skin, which is not easy. I can't say I've succeeded there. I resist the temptation to correct everything that's wrong because you'll spend all day and night doing that. I stay off Twitter because that makes me crazy when I see all the criticism. You just have to get up every day and do your job and not let the critics get to you." This is good advice, actually, for everybody. You can't let critics that bother you, anybody who's, you can't let it get to you. Easier said than done, but that's just my way of operating. As to her friends among reporters, Wild Express, we keep it to the friendships. So that's that. So they leaked the leak letter. That's not good. We really need to crack down on the leaks. 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 Let me do this. Let me go to my bookmarks here. We'll zip through some stuff here real quick on the old Twitteroozy. So check this out. This is the brother of Hakeem Jeffries. And he's a professor at Ohio State. He hosts a podcast for the SPLC. So Hakeem Jeffries' brother works for the SPLC. And just remember that they're not trying to kill you because you're a white supremacist. They're calling you a white supremacist so they can justify killing you. This is Hakeem Kwame Jeffries. John Brown understood the only way to free America from the scourge of white supremacy was to get rid of white supremacists by any means necessary. John Brown murdered people like crazy. He went, and that was what the hell, like the old, like burning Kansas was what it was called. That was John Brown running around Kansas, just killing people just because they were white. That's what he did. And that's what this guy's calling for. This is the brother of the fucking minority leader. Sorry. Hakeem Jeffries. And he's calling for people to just, he was right then, he's right now, just calling for people to go around and kill white people. That's what he's saying. Radical abolitionist John Brown was born on this day. That's what he was a crazy man who murdered tons of innocent women and children. Yeah. And he was hanged by the neck until dead. Or was he shot in a fire? He was the only person killed in the raid was a freed black slave. Yeah. Harper's Ferry, talking about it. He's a psychopath. This is crazy. And violent Antifa mob mobilized outside of the Portland hotel where they claimed that Kash Patel was staying. This is nuts. And he was also hung, they said. Well, I whatever however he was physically endowed is really no matter. Looks like Sting. Yeah, he does kind of, right? And they were outside. They were calling off fascists, repeatedly making threats to kill the director of the FBI. Mass arrests should have been made. They want to take Kash out because he's been effective. This is from Katie Davis Court, who's doing the Lord's work out there.
Yeah, we'll take you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Are you going to violate my First Amendment rights? We are utilizing our First Amendment rights to let the fascist bastards stay in this hotel. That we are not okay with what it's doing to our community. Look at all these people. They're cheering us on. Come on. Cash!
Oh no. Hey, sure, it's Michael. So 1860 of you.
wait, I know that song. If you know, it's a Justin Timberlake song. I think it's Justin Timberlake and Timberland singing. Oh man, what the hell's the name of the song? I know that song. Yeah. Antifa is officially designated a terrorist organization, yet they're still running wild in Portland with zero consequences. Time for feds to step up, start making arrests, hold everyone accountable, including city officials. Portland police came by and made an announcement for everyone to leave, but then did nothing else. That's crazy. Cash won't do shit about Antifa, or very demoralizing. Check this out. Spencer Pratt. 10% of all 1,000 on-duty LA firefighters were at this one structure fire. There was a structure. Justin Timberlake put out a song. It was like, was it 29 years ago? It was a long time ago. That song is from a long time ago. It was from the like late 90s, early 2000s. It's like it's on the same album as Sexy Back. And I just can't think of the name of it, the name of the song. It's on the same album, but it's like a song with Timberlake. Justin Timberlake and the guy Timberland. It's not Sexy Back. It's on that album. It's on the album Sexy Back, but it's a song with Timberland and Justin Timberlake. Talk to me, girl. If he goes, talk to me, girl. Don't you know about me? If you know, so to see. We lose type 1 fire engine firefighters to every overdose call in the city. How many fires until we're tapped out? Do the math on another wildfire or mass or riot or mass casualty. Think Karen Bass has you covered. Think again. Yeah, massive commercial fire in downtown LA. Heavy smoke and flames ripped through the 2-story structure, part of the roof reportedly collapsing. Police shut down nearby streets. This is nuts, right? Look at this. Look at this fire, man. It's a big fire. That's a fire. That's a fire. That's a big fire. Oh, that's a crazy fire. Huge smoke plumes for commercial fire building. I mean, it's nuts, right? Whatever. No, not gonna do that. All right. No, this is fine. Yeah, vote for Spencer Pratt. I agree. How did we get here? Check this out. This is very interesting. You hear Schnepp snoring? Yeah. It's not my love. I'm trying to think what it is. It's name of the song. It's a good song. Damn it! No, I can't think of it. I was looking for it. I don't think it's Sexy Back. Maybe I'm wrong. I think it's Chop Me Up. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I thought that was it. Maybe it's Chop Me Up. I don't know. So December 12th, 2000, SCOTUS decides Bush v. Gore. Election system problems feature predominantly in the nation's drama. President Bush signs the Help America Vote Act, the HAVA, into law, centralizing the testing and certification for states' use of all electronic election systems in the hands of just a few small federal agencies. In March 2005, Hugo Chavez secretly finances the purchase of American-based Sequoia voting systems by Smartmatic. And February 5th, 2008, Smartmatic and Venezuelan engineers rigged the 2008 Democrat primary in the state of Illinois, pushing Barack Obama past Hillary Clinton. Uh-oh. It's My Love? Was that My Love? Okay, I think it was. What's up, Snarf? How you doing? Was it My Love? U.S. federal safeguards are preventing this, and all future foreign-led rig jobs fail. Wow. Chavez called the three owners into his office and asked them what they needed to upgrade their capacity. He told them that they needed to purchase a real election company and move their software into that company's machines. And with their software loaded into the purchase company's machines, they could sell their services to other countries and run and control their elections. Yeah, there's Maduro, Chavez, and Obama. Yeah, the Chavez regime was very pleased, according to one of their engineers who was recruited by the whistleblowers. President Chavez called the three owners of Smartmatic, Antonio Maguza, Panade, and Anzola into his office. That's what they needed. They told him they needed to purchase a real company. That's when Chavez provided the money to buy Sequoia on March 8th. The Venezuela strongman also entered into a contract with Smartmatic that paid it $100 million a year. From that point forward, Smartmatic started to win bids in other countries. The first U.S. election run by Smartmatic and the Venezuelan engineers was the 2008 Democratic primary in Illinois. Wow. Name of the voting machines were DRE. The primary pitted Hillary Clinton against Obama and former Senator John Edwards, Dennis Kucinich, and Joe Biden. It was scheduled to take place on Super Tuesday. 154 delegates to the convention were at stake. Most observers knew the largest of Illinois, 102 counties and home of Chicago, Cook County, would be determined the results of the primary. According to one Venezuelan source, the Venezuelan from Smartmatic created the software 100% that was installed in the DRE voting machines in Cook County. Once the software was written, we moved it to Colorado to conduct some tests. Then we returned to Venezuela, but there were problems in Cook County getting the balance right. Roger Panade, who was indicted on August 8th by the U.S. District Court, the Southern District of Florida, ran the operation. He flew back to Chicago with some Venezuelan engineers and entered the United States on tourist visas to fix the software. Cook County was our first U.S. election, and it was a success. The next election we ran was in Mexico. Senator Obama ended up winning the 2008 Illinois state primary with 64.66% of the vote, due in part to his huge margin of victory in Cook County, 68.9% versus 29%. He earned 104 delegates compared to 49 for Hillary Clinton. Stolen Elections to Take Down by this guy, New York Times bestseller. This is a great book, breaks it all down. Election infrastructure. Oh, Bush Gore, Patriot Act, Help America Vote, VR systems, AT&T intertwined with Internet for NSA. Obama's first term, Obama used Hammer for domestic surveillance. 3G LTE complete. First e-poll books in Chicago. Euromaidan at Ukraine. Russiagate, Freedom Act, all this stuff. Oh, 2020. We saw Spencer Pratt just released a powerful new ad. How much hell they're putting people to. This is the one we started the show off with. Spencer has to win. LA's totally done if he doesn't. The other two are batshit crazy. Look at this. This woman is a woman in Tennessee who's a state senator. She's being attacked by a mob of demonic leftists. She had to be protected by 7 troopers because she's white. Now just imagine if Ms. Moody was black and these agitators were hurling racial slurs.
fucking racist. You fucking racist pieces of shit. Fuck you. Fuck you. You're gonna follow him fucking down.
A racist piece of shit. The guy who had the seat was a white guy, a Jewish white guy named Cohen. How does it make him a racist to get him out of there?
I hope you fall down the stairs, you raggedy bitch. A pedophile that didn't even, he didn't break you fucking racist pieces of shit. Old asses can't even make it down the stairs. Raggedy motherfucker, I hope you trip and break your ankle, bitch. You racist motherfucker. Sorry, cock-sucking sons of bitches. I can't believe you holding your bitch hand. How the fuck are you really racist motherfucker? Fuck children. They kidnap kids. And y'all carrying that on y'all's back. You gonna die with this shit. You started with a fucking pedophile rapist like this. Oh, bless your fucking heart. I hope your daughter has kids by a black man. Raggedy motherfucker, I hope you got some biracial mixed kids. They have to suffer like black people do, like you're making black people do. Fuck you! Racist pieces of shit. Your great grandchildren will not own your motherfucking ass. Don't push me. Don't push me. I didn't push nobody to. Oh, you want to push, ho? Oh, you want to push? Oh, you want to push?
All right, now saying I will F you up, that's a threat. They should be arrested. You can't threaten that you're gonna F somebody up. That's assault. That is a crime. Yeah, peaceful protesters. No, not threatening people. That's not peaceful. Threatening people is not peaceful.
Rude ass. Rude ass.
Yeah, wow, look at that. They're calling these guys rude. They're not saying anything. They're just walking, getting let out. Wow. But they're rude, huh? Wow. People threatening, calling names.
Don't trip down the stairs, raggedy motherfuckers. You all decrepit pieces of shit. Fucking racist bastards. So fucking unpopular. Get Trump dick out your mouth, bitch. Get Trump dick out your mouth, bitch. Y'all like raping kids too, don't it? Fucking pedophile, nasty bastards. Oh, she gonna see hell. They both gonna see hell. Fucking cowards. Fucking cowards. No, you a fucking man. Stand your motherfucking ass here and talk.
And it's because it's this person, they calling them out. The woman laughing, people, so they show a picture of this woman, like this, they're all here talking about something that has nothing to do with anything, and that's what they try to do. So look at this. She has every reason to smile. Blacks have been giving trillions of dollars worth of free benefits, and what's the result? Nashville's been the center of a lot of attention the last few years. Progressive socialists who will absolutely destroy this country if given the opportunity really hate how Tennessee embraces the Constitution and freedom. Drives them nuts. All they can do is pull the race cars, but these cars are no good. They no longer accept it anywhere. Yeah. Oh, this is crazy. This story, right? Knowing the species, surprised they didn't fling for you. I love them. They think they'll never get old is hilarious. Yeah, right. I think. If thinking a person should work to eat and live is racist, then I am racist. I see why the fathers. Oh man, come on now. Pearl is going to run out of drum heads. Hey, what's up, Nosum Rider? How's it doing? These people have no idea what is actually coming. Well, is it coming? This is a crazy story. So Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth put Mark Kelly on notice after he revealed classified information obtained during a Pentagon briefing on CBS's Face the Nation. Did he violate his oath again? Department of War legal counsel will review. War Secretary wrote on X, Captain Mark Kelly strikes again. And now he's blabbing on TV falsely and dumbly about classified Pentagon briefing he received. Like, this is just crazy that they would keep doing this. After hearing the Pentagon's classified briefing, Senator Mark Kelly says it's shocking how deep the cuts have gone. He said,
Began by asking whether the Pentagon has provided an answer on how depleted U.S. munitions are because of the war with Iran.
Yes, Margaret, we have. We've been tracking it. A number of times we've been briefed by the Pentagon on specific munitions. Actually, it's been pretty detailed on Tomahawks, ATACMS, SM-3s, THAAD rounds, Patriot rounds, so those interceptor rounds to defend ourselves. And the numbers are, I think it's fair to say it's shocking, how deep we have gone into these magazines because this president got our country into this without a strategic goal, without a plan, without a timeline. And because of that, we've expended a lot of munitions. And that means the American people are less safe, whether it's a conflict in the Western Pacific with China or somewhere else in the world. The munitions are depleted. You may have seen me ask the Secretary of Defense this question about how long it's going to take to replenish.
Well, here's the thing, and I'm going to put this on right now, all right, and say it right now. If our munition stockpiles were that low that this 40-day operation in Iran depleted them so badly, then we're fucked. We're completely fucked. Because what do you think that? Don't you think that something happening with China would have been on a scale of like 5 or 6 times what Iran was? So what we've been able to last 4 days, 5 days against China, and then we'd have to surrender. I mean, we know this guy is on the payroll of the fucking Chinese. He has a deal with the Chinese balloon company that was spying on our fucking country. This guy is a straight up traitor. Traitor.
Or else in the world, the munitions are depleted. You may have seen me ask the Secretary of Defense this question about how long it's going to take to replenish. We're talking about years.
Years. Oh. So right there, he gave away classified information on how long it's going to take. Years. Which I think he's wrong. But all senators think they can do better than presidents in waiting. Yeah, they do. Yeah, bullshit. This guy needs to go down. Mark Kelly turned into a cheerleader for Iran. Why? Does he dread the POTUS meeting with Xi Jinping? Go figure, stirring drama. 8 weeks of war with Iran, and this clown comes on her and endangers our national security by saying some shit like this? How depleted must we have gotten after spending years fighting proxy wars with Russia through Ukraine? Mark Kelly didn't care when it was under Biden. Yeah. Benedict Arnold served the country too until he didn't. That's the guy right there. Benedict Dickhead. That's him. Democrats have been exposed for suggesting firing the Virginia Supreme Court justice by lowering the retirement age in response to the 10D map that was struck down. Or they would just invalidate the 2020 constitutional amendment to create a redistricting process. That is banana republic, total institution destroying madness. I don't see how they can invalidate a constitutional amendment. How they just go, we're just going to say it's not. I mean, New York Times reporting about these machinations, at least being discussed by some demon rats at high levels, one of which involves taking out the entire state Supreme Court. Just basically going back to retroactively and saying, oh, you're too old. The new cutoff is 54. You're all ineligible to be justices, so you're out. Filling 7 seats with their own hacks and doing it again. Then the backup plan that they're talking about apparently is to just invalidate the 2020 constitutional amendment that was overwhelmingly supported by Virginians that created this independent redistricting process. And then the legislature would say, okay, that one doesn't count anymore. We'll just draw these new districts. Is wild. Like the fact that they kind of related. All right. Talk about that in a second. I think there's some demon rats tapping the brakes on this, which they should be. If they seriously consider either of these things, it's seismic and like a red flag moment for the democracy that they're pretending to care about.
The New York Times is reporting about these machinations at least being discussed by some Democrats at high levels, one of which, as you just detailed, Joey, involves taking out the entire state Supreme Court. Just basically going back retroactively and saying, oh, you're all too old. The new cutoff is 54. You're all ineligible to be justices, so you're out. Filling 7 seats with their own hacks and doing it again. That is banana republic, like total institution destroying madness. Then the backup plan that they're talking about doing, apparently, is to invalidate the 2020 constitutional amendment that was overwhelmingly supported by Virginians, that created the independent redistricting process that has actually brought about a fair map. And then the legislature would say, okay, that one doesn't count anymore. Now we'll draw these new districts. It's wild. I think there are some Democrats tapping the brakes on it, which they should be. If they seriously consider either of these things, it is seismic and like a red flag moment for the democracy that they pretend to care about. Don't do this.
It's crazy. It's just crazy. Now, they always find a way to try and cheat the system, but they aren't they for saving the democracy? This is their democracy by any means necessary. It's why we can't back down. I mean, yeah, when they say, whenever a demon rat says democracy, what they're talking about is like Jeff Clark says, Virginia Democrats are planning an FDR-style Virginia Supreme Court packing plan on steroids. I knew Abigail Scumbooger was going to be a nightmare, but this exposes that she's a nightmare who snuck in past dimmer Virginia voters as a Trojan horse as well. How Virginia demon rats can overturn the redistricting rule, retire the Supreme Court. The state constitution gives lawmakers complete latitude to set judicial retirement age. They should use it. These people are like mental cases. Virginia demon rats are looking for a way to overturn the state Supreme Court's Friday decision invalidating the constitutional amendment, temporarily adopting new congressional districts that a majority of voters ratified last month. They have a simple and lawful solution. Send the entire court into early retirement. Yeah, hence we're not a democracy. Article 11, Section 9 of the Constitution gives the legislature unlimited authority to set retirement ages for judges. It specifies the General Assembly may also provide the mandatory retirement of justices and judges after they reach a prescribed age, beyond which they shall not serve, regardless of the term to which they elected or appointed. Current law sets the mandatory retirement age at 73. Any member who attains 73 years of age shall be retired 20 days after convening the next regular session of the General Assembly following his 73rd birthday. I mean, what are they going to do? It still would have to be after the convening of the next regular session. So they would still have to stay until the next regular session. But that would not be, see, they couldn't make this. They couldn't make this. This would be every judge in fucking Virginia, not just the Supreme Court. You couldn't have the retirement age for the Supreme Court be different than the other judges. Wouldn't they be grandfathered in? No, I don't think so. I mean, if they did this, though, that would mean every judge serving in Virginia, every judge on state courts, criminal courts that's over 54 would automatically be booted off. That would really limit the amount of people. Think about that, 54. So you're going to be talking about most people don't even get out of law school till they're almost 30. So they going to want people that's insane. The number is arbitrary. States around the country with similar laws mandate retirement across a wide range of ages. Virginia lawmakers who simply lower theirs, make it 54 for Supreme Court justices, the age of the youngest justice, Stephen McCullough, who joined the majority opinion, and make it take effect immediately. Virginia already uses a similar threshold for public employees. Members of the Virginia retirement system with 5 years of service can retire at 55 and receive a partial pension. Like, yeah, can, not, sounds like they're pissed. Yeah, it's insane. It is. Dinesh was right. NZs learn politics from demon rats. Yeah. We must have patience. Trump is in a normie desensitization phase. We can't just roll out drumhead without people understanding why the evidence is being airtight. Yeah. Welcome to Virginia. Yep. 54. That's effing stupid. It's crazy. Yeah. The Virginia Constitution only requires a little bit of time for laws to come into effect. However, appropriation bills aren't subject to restrictions, and the legislature hasn't yet passed its biannual budget. A modification of the judicial retirement age could be added to the next budget, which is due by June 30th and would come into effect upon passage. Then, after the bill is approved, the entire court would retire. A new court would then be appointed and could rehear the case and have opportunity to issue a different ruling. Demon rats might prefer other solutions, but if they want to see the will of the voters respected, there are virtually no other options. Well, the law actually says they have to wait till after the next regular convening of the legislature. So this is just insanity. It's just insanity. Oh, what's this? From bureaucracy to business.
Doing the same thing for a broken Pentagon bureaucracy was doing the same thing for decades. When our warfighters needed more weapons, aircraft, and ships, the Department of Defense allowed contractors to double
Hey, what's
dip
up? Yeah, I was on Third
at
Rail
your
Fire. Yep.
expense. They charge you, the taxpayer, to build their factories, and then charge you again for the final product. And despite paying companies to make weapons faster, schedule delays were constant, and cost overruns were the norm. All while their CEOs got rich. But today, President Trump's War Department is flipping this rigged system on its head. We're not tolerating delays in production or cost overruns anymore. We've pushed out the bureaucrats who've made these deals in the past and replaced them with the most talented negotiators in the private sector. A group of businessmen so elite, they've been rightly dubbed Deal Team 6. It's simple. We're putting the American taxpayer first by offering you a better deal. We now move at the speed of business, not bureaucracy. Now, when a defense company expands its production to sell more equipment to the U.S. military, they pay the bill. They pay for new factories, assembly lines, manufacturing plants, not the taxpayer. In exchange, we're giving these companies steady, long-term orders for exactly what our warriors
Third Rail Fire, yeah. They're good people.
Defense
I like
companies
them.
are making things in higher volumes, much more quickly while keeping their prices flat.
You know, it says Dory
Should
Miller
these
Construction
companies
heading
fail to
north of
deliver,
716 years.
we will
That's
hold them
crazy.
accountable and bring in new companies who will. Speed, volume, and fiscal responsibility. It's common sense, and it's what the American taxpayer demands. This War Department has made the move from bureaucracy to business.
That's good.
Over the next month, we will release a series of videos that highlight how President Trump's historic $1.5 trillion defense budget will make a generational investment in our arsenal of freedom. This investment will secure and protect the homeland and ensure America's military remains the most lethal fighting force on earth for generations to come. We're going to spend every dollar of that money responsibly because that's what you deserve, that's what America needs, and that's what this president demands.
That's pretty cool. Thanks, Gundam, for sharing that. What was one thing up here too? This thing here. So, and this is something people got to pay attention because this is what's going on other places. You got to really pay attention. These people claim to be independents that are running. They're not. This happens with the independents that run in Utah. Same thing they're trying to pull in Nebraska now. Is there the panel was on Duct Tape's channel. Hey Nomad, hey Nero. I was on Duct Tape's channel. I've been invited on other shows. I've done stuff. So yeah, I like collaborating with people. I like going on shows, talking to them, getting opinions, bouncing things off. I like it. Like a good time. Hormuz was literally their Constantinople. So Nebraska's Dan Osborne isn't fooling anyone with his independent facade. From taking cash from liberal mega donors to using the same consultant as Bernie Sanders, Osborne is bought and paid for by the radical left. This is a con. Democrats use Nebraska Senate primary to boost a fake independent. Molly Hemingway's a great source on this stuff. This is not politics. This is a con. We fully expect Burbank to follow through on her own stated plan and disappear the moment the primary is called. Nebraskans will vote next week in the U.S. Senate primary race to determine which Republican and which Democrat will face off in November for the congressional seat. But a closer look reveals the latest in Demon Rat election rigging, complete with the legal help from Russia collusion hoaxer Mark Elias. The apparent master plan involves leveraging the primary race to prop up so-called nonpartisan candidate vying for the Senate seat, who, under an independent facade, has deep leftist ties and could threaten fair representation in the red state. On May 12th, Demon Rat candidate Cindy Burbank and William Forbes will face off in the primary for the U.S. Senate seat. Republican incumbent Pete Ricketts will face his primary opposition on the same day. However, as the New York Times points out, if Ricketts secures the primary victory, his competitor in a general election will most likely be Dan Osborne, the nonpartisan candidate endorsed by the Nebraska Democrat leaders and widely known to be a fake independent. Osborne has claimed that he is not beholden to a party boss, but Fox News has detailed Osborne received campaign contributions from prominent out-of-state Democrats, including Elizabeth Warren, and during his failed 2024 campaign for the same seat, Senator Chuck Schumer's PAC. Osborne has also been a client of Fight Agency, a Demon Rat strategy agency that collaborated with Bernie Sanders and Kami Zoran Mandami. Osborne also uses clearly fraud-ridden Democrat fundraising platform Act Blue and has come under fire for funneling a large quantity of campaign cash to members of his family. Oh, Dan Clancy. Oh, yeah, the guy. That's the Australian guy, Danny. Yeah, he's a good guy. I like talking to him. National Republican Senator Campaign Regional Press Secretary told the Federalist there's no doubt Osborne wants to import the radical left agenda into Nebraska. Even top Demon Rats have suggested they will pick up another seat in Congress if Osborne wins. Unlike in 24, candidates are running in the primary in Nebraska for the Senate seat this year. I previously mentioned this includes Burbank, who was thrown off the primary ballot in March by Republican Secretary of State Bob Evans. According to the Nebraska Examiner, Evans' decision came after Republicans filed a complaint alleging Burbank is not a good faith candidate because she has no plans to serve in the office she seeks. They highlighted remarks on the Demon Rats website where she wrote that if she won the Democrat nomination, she would support nonpartisan candidate Osborne against Republican Pete Ricketts. Burbank successfully sued to get back on the ballot, represented by none other than Mark Elias. Notably, Elias's law firm is also on Osborne's payroll. And this is just crazy that they allowed this to happen. Burbank's website still endorses Osborne, including her obvious commitment to help him secure a fair shot against Ricketts. In fact, the primary purpose of Burbank's campaign is to clearly promote Osborne and disparage her fellow Democrat candidate Forbes, whom she and other state Democrats is a fake planted by Ricketts in the primary to split the votes against him and win. Forbes said he voted for Trump in previous elections, but also insisted he's a lifelong Democrat. Nebraska Demon Rats complained Burbank's campaign was to counteract Forbes, but Ricketts has denied any involvement with Forbes. The factory building provision was started in World War II, not 11 Omar, and was kept in where no one at the Pentagon ever audits contracts. Yeah. Elizabeth Warren is a bleep. It's crazy. What's this planet of memes? Oh, yeah, that's a good one. We'll pull that up in a second. Either way, Burbank is not merely running to split the vote, as Forbes is accused of doing. After setting herself up as a Demon Rat in the primary, she's expected to drop out of the race if she wins the nomination, thus presumably using her victory to send her voters to Osborne. Nebraska Republican Party Chair Mary Jane Traumper told the Federalist that Cindy Burbank is not a candidate. She's a placeholder, and everyone knows it. She filed to win a nomination she intends to hand to Osborne, and the Democrat Party has been bankrolling that strategy from the start. Trumper also pointed out how both Osborne and the chair of the Democrat Party, Jane Klebb, told voters to go vote for Burbank in the primary. Jane Klebb is endorsing Osborne with one hand and pushing Burbank voters in the polls with the other. Osborne himself is begging Democrats to vote for her. This is not politics. This is a con. We fully expect Burbank to follow through on her own stated plan and disappear the moment the primary is called. The Nebraska Democrat Party essentially admits the plan on X. Ricketts has planted his fake Dem candidate, William Forbes, in the hopes he advances past the primary in a three-way race between Forbes, Osborne, and Ricketts. Forbes will take away votes from Osborne, allowing Ricketts to an easy path. Enter Cindy Burbank. We must vote for her to knock fake Forbes out of the primary and allow Osborne to take on Ricketts one-on-one. This is how we send Ricketts packing. This is crazy. Can we get more thumbs up for Jim's? Trump is a business version of Grant. The question is, will he fall to the propaganda the way Grant did? Reagan was the best. Oh, he cracks you up too? That's good. The Federalists reached out to Osborne's campaign, Burbank and Nebraska Democrats for comment, but did not receive a response. The apparent effort in Nebraska to foist up a Democrat candidate, a Senate candidate for voters who does not even plan to compete for the seat, it's just the latest example of the demon rats exploiting elections and voters to consolidate power, only pretending to care about democracy when it benefits their agenda. That's right. They don't care. This is the party that essentially launched a coup to unilaterally replace Joe Biden with Vice President Harris in 2024, even after voters supported Biden in the primaries. Ironically, this is also the party when independent candidate RFK Jr. decided before the 2024 election that would be more detrimental for the country for him to split the vote with Harris and Trump in certain states, that fought to keep him on the ballot in the states where Kennedy's absence might help Trump. On the other hand, leftists in states like Colorado tried to kick Trump off the ballot. I'm not trying to get you to nuclear send message. Not paying anymore. Don't send any more money, Ryan. Definitely not. You spent way too much tonight. On more local and recent note, when it became clear this year that the sexual assault scandal surrounding Demon Rat gubernatorial candidate Eric Swalwell might lead to a GOP victory, Democrats did not hesitate to box him out either. Nuclear send message? I don't know what that means. Ahead of the 2026 midterms, Democrats have also already been relentless in their efforts to launch expansive and, in the case of left-wing run Virginia, potentially illegal gerrymandering campaigns to take back the majority of the House of Representatives. Wow. And that doesn't even include the Demon Rat efforts to rig elections in their favor by redistricting according to race, even though the Supreme Court put the kibosh on unconstitutional racial gerrymandering last week. Reports emerged beforehand that Democrat-appointed justices were slow-walking decisions so that it would not be an issue in time for many Republican states to actually go into district. Well, that's exactly what they did. They did not. Why? Why do you hate anybody, Snarf? What's the problem? Hey, Kelly J, what's up? Great to see you. As the latest deep dive in Nebraska once again highlights, Demon Rats will stop at nothing to redefine and rig so-called democracy in their favor. This political theater is getting so old. It is. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's nuts. It's nuts what keeps happening over and over and over again. Over and over and over again. But this is what it is right here. Capitalism doesn't work because people are selfish. People will work for common good in a socialist society. Which one's he going to press? Which one's he going to press? What's he going to do? The only difference is Trump doesn't drink. Well, that's between Grant. Yeah, I mean. This guy says, can you imagine that the Demon Rats are discussing lowering the retirement age of Virginia Supreme Court to 54, which would force the entire court to resign, including the three that voted with them, then stack the court with 7 justices who would have pledged to reverse the redistricting case? This is your Democrat Party, power-hungry thugs willing to burn a high court to the ground that dares to disagree with them. They should never have power again. A private call reveals Demon Rats' desperation over tossing Matt. Conversation involving House members from Virginia and a top House Democrat reflected the fury and desperation. So this is Hakeem Jeffries. And we saw his brother talking about killing white people. What's going on here? Look at this. Meet Nicholas Turner, the first president of color of the Vera Institute of Justice. Vera pays him $675,000 a year to advance communism through lawfare. You saw it on the old electoral maps on 270 to win. Even California, Illinois, Massachusetts, New York voted for Reagan in at least one of them. Yeah, no, Reagan. Yeah, California, Chicago, Illinois, all this stuff. So I'm saying until Illinois, like what happened is, like they did really in 2020 they gerrymandered it, but even before that they were gerrymandering here, gerrymandering there. They would get, and basically gerrymandered out all the Republicans in Illinois. Like, I mean, Trump won like 43 or 44% of the vote in Illinois. And there's only three Congress people from Illinois. And like 21 demon rats or something, 17, 18, I don't know. Well, you wanted to vote for Reagan, but you were too young. So tired of person of color crap. White is a color too, insufferable people. Yeah. They can't pay him that much because they've been awarded over. They can pay him that much because they've been awarded over $600 million by the federal government. Turner joined the Vera Institute of Justice as its 5th president and director in August 2013. He's the first person of color. Here's the grift. It's right here. The Vera Institute of Justice, a New York-based nonprofit founded in 1961 with the initial focus on bail reform, has evolved into one of the most influential progressive advocacy organizations in the United States. Today, it aggressively pushes a left-wing agenda centered on ending mass incarceration, racial equity, and providing government-funded legal representation to immigrants facing deportation. Has Jim posted a new butthole state flag on Somalia? I've seen it. I've seen it. It's funny. I saw the video. The guy showed it, and then he showed it and turned it the other way. And once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. It's crazy. Including unaccompanied children who enter the country illegally. While Vera markets itself as a non-partisan champion of justice, our view of its government contracts and IRS Form 990 reveals a different picture. A heavily taxpayer-subsidized entity that funnels hundreds of millions of dollars in federal dollars into legal services that critics argue facilitate illegal immigration, which it does. It does. All while compensating its top officers handsomely. A data set of prime federal awards highlights Vera's deep entanglement with taxpayer funds, specifically for immigration-related work. The 9 contracts listed, all awarded by the Department of Health and Human Services, total $636 million. These span fiscal years 2009 to 2021 and overwhelming support legal service providers for unaccompanied children. Wow. 168 million, 193 million, another 14 to 80 million. Wow. Descriptions explicitly reference legal service providers for unaccompanied children, training attorneys to represent them in immigration court. These awards aligns Vera's broader Advancing Universal Representation initiative, which seeks to establish a federal right to taxpayer funding lawyers for anyone facing deportation. No, because it's not a punishment. They're not entitled to taxpayer-funded lawyers because it's not a punishment. Vera itself noted representation boosts success rates tenfold. Critics, including the Center for Immigration Studies and Fox News, have highlighted these deals as left-wing groups secure lucrative contracts to help immigrants avoid deportation, while simultaneously lobbying against border enforcement. One 2021-22 contract alone was valued at $171 million and nearly $1 billion in potential scope. Of course, that's right. The Biden administration was letting all the people in and then giving these people money to just help them stay. Their Form 990 confirms the scale of the government dependency. Total revenue hit $263 million. Federal sources dominating 91% of the breakdown in 2023. 2024 revenue was $142 million, including $105 million in government grants. Expenses consistently hover near or above revenue, with program services, including immigration legal aid, comprising the bulk. Despite the public funding model ostensibly to serve vulnerable populations, executive compensation is substantial. The president and director gets $675,000 a year. Multiple vice presidents and key executives earn between $250,000 and $380,000 a year, all funded by you and me. Look at these people: Ishna Raman, Edward Kwangyoon Chung. Yeah. Total compensation is $3.45 million in the latest year. Board members and trustees serve without pay, but the operational leadership enjoys compensation packages far exceeding those of many private sector roles with similar responsibilities. Explicit left-wing bias. Vera does not hide its ideological leanings. It supports Black Lives Matter, the movement for Black Lives, the related efforts to reimagine policing and prisons. It frames U.S. immigration system as racist and xenophobic and advocates for universal representation. Vera has backed defund the police, criticized tough on crime policies, and promoted narratives downplaying the link between illegal immigration and crime while demanding taxpayer-funded lawyers as a human right. The program targets criminalization and deportation of immigrants. A recent report notes that the Justice Department terminating the grants in 2025, citing misalignment on agency priorities. A move Vera and allies challenged in court. In short, Vera used federal contracts, hundreds of millions of dollars for legal aid for illegal aliens. So you're paying for illegal aliens. Slow down, your speech is chaos. Okay, sorry. So they wanted to advance progressive equity. Taxpayers foot the bill for both the services and the high salaries of the leadership. This model raises serious questions about accountability. Should public money bankroll organizations whose core activities undermine the very immigration laws Congress has passed? I will say no, they shouldn't. So their trajectory from bail reform to a legal immigration powerhouse illustrates how nonprofits can leverage government largesse to entrench ideological goals. As border encounters and unaccompanied minor arrivals surge, so too has scrutiny on groups like Vera that profit from the resulting caseload. Minnesotans were kicked out of the Saxon tribes and Denmark and sent to Norway. They were kicked out of Wessex and they were kicked out of Pennsylvania for the same reason. Wow. This is Center for Immigration Studies, Liberal Vera Institute. I wouldn't call them NAB's immigration contract, 2022. Wow. This is where our tax, this is why we're fucking broke, man. This is why we have no money. This is exactly why we have no money. This is why we are $40 trillion in debt. This is why we can't pay for anything and can't do anything. We're like, oh, we're money. We have no money. It's because they are wasting so much money. So much money. Much love, no fear. Egalitarians. It would be nice if we had more egalitarians. Just make sure you hit the follow, smash the thumbs up, and repost it. So, man. Complaints came to a head when the Clinton DOJ entered in a settlement in Flores v. Reno. The Flores settlement agreement created a policy favoring release of alien minors and requiring INS to place minors it did detain in the least restrictive setting as possible, based on their age. When HSA abolished the former INS and created DHS, House Democrats amended the bill to vest jurisdiction for housing and placement with the Office for Refugee Resettlements. As an aside, I was in the room when this amendment was agreed to without much debate. I still have no idea why Congress thought it was a good idea to send UACs to ORR, an office that had no detention expertise in the department that didn't have any. Nearly 2 decades of experience in UAC detention and placement hasn't apparently taught the department much, either given that HHS under the Biden administration lost track of nearly 20,000 UACs it released. I thought it was more than that. I thought they said it was 300,000. We are broke because of the fraud and the deception is raping the American people at no end. I agree. In any event, among other duties Congress directed them to perform was developing a plan to ensure qualified independent legal counsel is timely appointed to represent interests of such child. So Democrats in Congress passed an extremely problematic law that even Biden disliked, the Trafficking Victims Protection Reauthorization Act of 2008. Section directs DHS to transfer all UACs and encounters to non-contiguous countries in 72 hours, nearly all for placement with sponsors. These rules apply regardless of whether the in question have been trafficked and don't fear prosecution if they return home. Wow. So they passed a law that purposely basically said to everybody in the world, if your kid comes across the border, we have to take him. We can't turn him around. That's crazy. And not surprisingly, because TVPRA gives preferential treatment to children who aren't from Mexico or Canada, the number and percentage of UACs apprehended at the border from non-contiguous countries has skyrocketed. To the greatest extent practicable, the Secretary of Health and Human Services to make every effort to utilize the services of pro bono counsel who agree to provide representation to such children without charge. That's a bit redundant because unless the government or someone else is paying for a UAC counsel and private lawyers are going to have to do it for free or on cheap, that is pro bono. Section also directs HHS to appoint independent child advocates for child trafficking victims. Having read through the documents, I am not entirely sure whether VERA is simply helping UACs find private attorneys, including pro bono counsel, or whether it's being paid to provide direct legal services. If it's the former, the $171 million up to $983 million is a lot of money to pay to find lawyers. If it's the latter, the statutory source of the authority to provide government-funded paid counsel is unclear from either HSA or TVPRA, though it may be hidden elsewhere. This is nuts. This is just nuts. We got more stuff out of Portland from Katie Davis Court. Antifa militant known as Spearman approaches White Wing activist Rain M. Acker outside a hotel. The group believes Cash Patel is saying it. Says, if there's any radical Antifa you need to worry about killing you, it's me. So this person is saying that he's going to kill somebody. This person should be immediately arrested. This is nuts.
Just so you know, if any of the militant radical Antifa you need to worry about killing you post-rent, it'll be me. I will come after you, and I will ask you a bunch of questions.
Okay, who's
Hi, everyone. I'm going to be the person to point a gun at you and ask, do you care about human life over capital? If you say no, I get to use my God-given right and my American right to fucking kill you. Have a great day.
That's crazy. That's crazy. This person just threatened to kill him and says it's their right to kill people. SSRIs, totally. Wow. Wow. How does this stuff keep happening? How does it keep happening? Nothing ever seems to get done. Here's a nice, I saw this. I wanted to save this because this is great. This is Rubio talking about how, what's going on and why we're shooting back at Iran.
Well, I guess, but the point is, if there's not much seizing in the firing, because we
well, you should ask that of the Iranians. Don't ask me. We didn't fire. They fired on us. My point is, if you fire at a U.S. Navy ship, what are we supposed to do? Say, oh, there's a ceasefire. We're not going to shoot down your drone. That's a stupid question. That's a stupid position to take. Of course we fired back at them. They were shooting at us. That's what I would expect to do. Only stupid countries don't shoot back when you're shot at. And we're not a stupid country.
Do you expect that there, or have you conveyed any red lines to Iran where, if the ceasefire or whatever you call it, if they
Well, the red line is clear. If they threaten Americans, they're going to get blown up. I mean, that's how much clearer can you be than that? If you if you are a missile launching guy, whatever they call that job, and you're sitting there and you fire a missile at the United States and we saw you fire it, we're going to hit you. Of course we are. Who doesn't do that? Unless you want to get your ship sunk. I mean, we're not going to let our ships get sunk by the Iranians with their little, their drones that they're firing. They don't have a navy anymore, but they bring out these little Boston whaler fishing boats and they try to swarm you. We're going to blow those boats up if they're coming towards our boats. I don't know if that's a red line, but I hope they know it is by now. So if I were one of these Iranians on a fast boat and they tell you, hey, your mission is to go after a U.S. destroyer, you're probably not going to survive. I think that's a red line.
Probably not going to survive. I mean, yeah, we've been smoking these boats. They send these little boats out. I mean, they basically look like anything you could buy. Like you could just buy these boats, like cabin cruisers or bass boats, fishing boats, and that's what they're using right now to swarm out and just guys with machine guns and stuff like that. And those are not going to stand a chance. Basically, they're using like A-10 Warthogs. Take them out. They're using Apache helicopters. They're using the Arleigh Burks are there. Yeah, wise guy boats. Yeah, that's great. Rubio is the one. Yeah, Rubio's pretty good. He wants Cuba like Trump wanted Iran. I want Cuba. I want Cuba to be free. I want to be able to get Cuban cigars in the United States. I'm selfish. I'm thinking about myself. I want the people of Cuba to be free to make more cigars that we can buy here. I don't want to pay 400. I don't want to, because technically it's illegal. You're not supposed to buy them, but I don't want to spend $400 or $500 for a box of cigars. I'd rather pay like 200. It's pretty much anything like Macanudos and like non-Cuban Cahibas and stuff like that you can get, Monte Cristos and stuff like that aren't from Cuba. You can get them for like 150, 200 bucks a box, and the Cuban ones are expensive. Sometimes they're more than that. You want oily coffee? Oh, good. That sounds good. I like that stuff too. Yeah, I'm just saying. I really like some cigars. Really, really. Yeah, but the Dems are stupid. Let's see. Do I have? We saw this. Trump is set to announce a major expansion of denaturalization of third worlders who fraudulently obtained citizenship. Let's hope that Ilhan Omar is on the list.
Mr. President, you said that you might denaturalize some American citizens. Can you talk about?
You mean people that are in here that shouldn't be here?
That became Americans. Are you trying
Well, we'll
to
see.
revoke
I mean, yeah,
citizenship?
we have criminals that came into our country and they were naturalized maybe through a Biden or somebody that didn't know what they were doing. If I have the power to do it, I'm not sure that I do, but if I do, I would denaturalize absolutely.
Mr. President, you said.
Guys in Germany who got some Cubans said they were overrated. I don't know. I've had Cubans. They're on a different level. If they're real Cubans, they're on a different level. Cigars. I don't know. Although I've heard people say they don't have good ones anymore. That they're screwed everything up and it's got crappy. But yeah, we gave Cuba to themselves to govern and they effed it up. It was okay. What was his name? Batista? Was that his name? Batista was the president of Cuba, and I think his name was Batista. Right? Am I wrong? I think it was Batista. And he got overthrown, but he was just basically he could have got it. He didn't tell anybody. He just all of a sudden it was like on New Year's Eve or something. He just like surrendered and left. And like instead of saying like, "Hey, help me," and these guys are going to overthrow me, like it would have been like. If he, I can't imagine that Eisenhower wouldn't have sent some help, if he would have said something. I don't know. To fight him back instead of losing the country. I mean, there was tons of, billions, and at the time in the 50s, billions and billions of dollars were lost of property confiscated by the Cuban government of, America stuff. Yeah, Batista took the money and left. Yeah. Because London installed Castro. Well, there was some people who thought Castro wasn't, at the time when Castro was fighting, they claimed that they wanted to be, just like the mullahs. Yeah. Claiming that Castro was going to be wasn't going to be this communist. It wasn't like that he went to the Soviet, went aligned with the Soviets and went commie. But I think, he was hanging out with Che Guevara. So it's kind of pretty obvious what he was going to be. London created Marx. That is the beginning of the test for denaturalization. Let the court chew on it and see what happens. Yeah. Well, it is specifically in the thing about becoming a citizen. They ask you if you're a member of any communist party, any subversive party, do you have any of these leanings? So if you lie about it, like Ilhan Omar more than likely lied on her documentation when she came into the country. Her father definitely did. Just saying. So, says anger and confusion as Louisiana Republicans move to erase majority black U.S. House district. No, what happened was the Supreme Court said you can't make these. These districts were ordered to be drawn like this by a judge, by a federal judge. Yeah, Fredo Corleone screwed it up. Yeah, he did. If Fredo would have just let him take out Hyman Roth, everything would have been fine. Oh, this is all old. This week in Louisiana politics, redistricting and limits. The Louisiana Senate and Government Affairs Committee convened in Baton Rouge on Friday to debate 4 congressional map proposals. So yeah, there's a map. Jim is on Family Vision. What does that mean? When I took the equip test for security clearance, they gave me an issue with my mother being a foreign national. My father's American. She had a green card. Ari Omar, I would hope fraudulent marrying your brother would be considered worse than lying about what you believe in. Well, yeah, but no, her father lied when they came in. They all came in and saying that they were being persecuted by the government of Somalia. They were the government of Somalia that were doing the persecution of people. Ernesto Guevara wanted to keep power, made Castro accelerate to move to communist. Cubans did like we are doing, a lot that fled, like New Yorkers moving to Florida, but they went to Miami. All will be appealed, and the next group of idiots will try it again. Yeah.
Here is This Week in Louisiana Politics.
Hello and welcome to This Week in Louisiana Politics on your local election headquarters. I'm Andrew Epperson. Emotions high during a Louisiana Senate committee hearing on redistricting Friday. The Senate and Governmental Affairs Committee began debating 4 different.
Oh, awesome. Tell them all. Hi, Brian's family.
The Supreme Court ruled Louisiana's current map unconstitutional.
Hi,
4
Ogden
maps
family.
presented to the committee. 1 removes both black congressional districts. 2 remove 1 congressional district, while a 4th leaves the state with those 2 majority black districts. The hearing went into recess soon after it began, after Democratic State Senator Gary Carter asked Committee Chair Republican Caleb Kleinpeter about the status of the absentee ballots mailed in following Governor Jeff Landry's suspension of the congressional primary elections.
I would like to know how many people have requested early ballots. Do you have that information, Mr. Chairman? How many people have requested early
Senator
ballots?
Carter, I have not, but have you reached out to the Secretary of State before this meeting?
I can't recall a meeting of the Senate.
You know, so they're trying. The judge ordered that election can't go, so those ballots are null and void. They're going to have to vote again. It's not the end of the world. They're going to get new ballots. They get to vote again. I don't understand. They want to take these ballots and use them anyway? You can't have an election with unconstitutional districts. You got to change them. That's it. They better not. They better go all the way. Yeah, black districts, but no racism. Right. Yeah, it's crazy. This is just nuts.
Government and Affairs Committee, where someone from the Secretary of State office has not been sitting off to the side. So it was my expectation that the Secretary of State would be in this committee meeting. We need to know, quite honestly, how many people had voted at the time the governor suspended the election and what happened to those ballots.
And the senators ultimately exchanged some more heated words, accusing each other of being out of line, causing another recess.
And you are no different than this. Put my microphone back on. My microphone, he's suggesting he's not racist. I said we take a look at his work.
Oh, yeah. Call people racist. There you go. Just call people racist. Oh, there you go.
All right.
The hearing resumed with State Senator Ed Price presenting his map proposal, which would keep 2 majority black congressional districts in the state. Louisiana's 4 current and former black congressmen all testified in support of Price's proposal. Republican State Senator Jay Morris presented his proposed maps. This committee is expected to hold another hearing this week on, or should I say, yes, this week on the proposed congressional maps. Louisiana First.
The Supreme Court said you can't have racist maps, and they're just going to go, the Democrats go, we're going to keep the racist maps. I don't understand it. This makes no sense. You got to redraw the maps.
News reached out to the Secretary of State's office to see if there are any forthcoming answers on Carter's questions about absentee ballots. The Supreme Court denies a request to reconsider its ruling. High Court sticking to its decision to throw out the current map, which features those majority black districts. Governor Landry ordered the May 16th congressional election be suspended. Secretary of State's office reports more than 128,000 people have already cast their ballots.
Oh, 128,000 people. Oh, well, they're going to cast new ballots.
Cleo Fields, whose district is at the center of this Supreme Court ruling, is continuing to speak out regarding voting rights and Louisiana's response to that Supreme Court ruling. The Democratic rep tells Louisiana First News' Breonna Moore he's not letting the dust settle without a fight.
And then my office texted me and they said a decision is in from the Cali case.
Congressman Cleo Fields recalling the moment he was notified of the Supreme Court ruling involving the state's congressional map. Fields calling it confusing and troubling.
The issue before us today is whether or not a person who looks like me will have an opportunity to serve in Congress.
Fields.
You have an opportunity. It's up to the voters. You don't get to pick your voters, though. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. You don't get to pick your voters by the color of their skin. That's what the Supreme Court said. Sorry, that's just the way it is. It's not a legal election. Yeah, it's not a legal election if it's done on maps that were deemed unconstitutional. Yeah. So what? 120,000 can vote for anchovies in my pizza election. That don't mean shit. That's right.
Says Louisiana's 33% minority population deserves fair representation, but argues black political power has been historically limited. He also criticizes pausing elections already in progress.
This election had already started. People who wanted to be elected had already qualified. Some were unopposed.
He says voters still have due process rights, including time to request a rehearing, and notes the Supreme Court never ordered elections to stop or ballots to be discarded. That's why he joined the lawsuit to protect both his candidacy and voters' rights, urging people to keep voting and complete their ballots since the case isn't final.
We're better than that as a country.
The case is final. The case is final. What are you talking about? The Supreme Court. There's no other court. This is insane. Tell people, keep voting. Yeah, keep voting. You guys are going to screw around and people are going to think they already voted and they didn't vote. That's what's going to happen. You're going to screw yourselves.
There's nothing wrong with being diverse.
Fields criticizes what he sees as a broader national attack on diversity, equity, inclusion, and minority voting power. He points to efforts to eliminate DEI programs and redraw districts for political gain, arguing protections like the Voting Rights Act are needed to prevent minority voters from losing representation. Reporting, Breonna Moore, Louisiana First News.
Yeah, that's crazy. So the Supreme Court denied a request to reconsider its ruling upholding the decision to invalidate the congressional map. It's just crazy, though, that they're going to think like, oh, we're just going to go ahead and 4 distinct map proposals were presented to committee. One proposal would eliminate both map, while 2 others would remove one such district. A fourth aims to maintain the state with 2 black majority districts. That would be what you would call unconstitutional. It's crazy. As opposed to what? As opposed to not doing. I mean, they have to draw the new maps. They're going to have to do it. I mean, the bottom line is that the Republicans have the votes in the legislature in Louisiana to push whatever maps they want. So it's going to be up to them what they want to do. The Democrats can't, it's not they're going to be able to do unless you got squishy rhino scums that are going to side with them, like the Indiana people who are going to have to be voted out then. The bottom line is that they're going to have to just accept the fact that those districts have to be redrawn. And it's, it'll be fun. It'll be interesting to see what the Republicans actually do. If they draw out both maps, both districts go away, or if they only do one, they just go, well, we're just going to do the one. It will be interesting. It'll be very interesting to see. This is all because the Voting Rights Act. Should it be repealed? No, the Voting Rights Act, amazing disgrace. The Voting Rights Act actually says you can't use race. It's like, no, you're no racial discrimination. That's what the Voting Rights Act said. You can't discriminate by race. And then they said, oh, that means we have to discriminate by race. That's everything that Democrats twist everything, always. Oh, it says no discrimination by race. So that means we have to discriminate to make sure that these people aren't, we have to discriminate to make sure these people aren't discriminated against. The best news in 3 decades, Florida will be moving Washington Schultz seat. Yeah, it's already been done. I know, Jim, that's the irony. It is. That's why people are like, oh, they're overturning, they're stripping the Voting Rights Act. No, they're not. They're saying this is what the statute says. And it's the same with affirmative action in California. Did Brian say he's going to sleep? Charlie Brown. Yeah. Let me see who is live. So yeah, so I don't see how I don't see how they cannot. They're gonna. I mean, one. It's gonna be interesting if they just do one, or if they do more than one. If they do both districts, redraw them out. I mean, they can. I mean, they can do both if they want. We'll have to wait and see exactly what they do. It'll be interesting. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that and where it goes. Affirmative action is against the Civil Rights Act. Yeah, it is. It's crazy. It's crazy. What's blah, 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 Jim? I don't understand. Ego, what's the problem? I have a feeling it's still going to be the last little sliver of blue in Florida. Well, there's still going to be four districts. They just, if you look at the maps in Florida, they look like, you would think like this isn't gerrymandered at all. They're just like, okay, here's the blue district, here's the blue district, here's the blue district. It's like, what? I don't get it. It doesn't look like they rigged it at all to me, but that's my opinion, obviously. But I mean, opinions are like, bungholes, as they say. Okay, and then we got this story. The new secretary of DHS. I'm really not a fan of. There's been a lot of rumblings that like they were going to close Alligator Alcatraz because he doesn't want to pay for it and he doesn't like the idea of it, and there's been pressure to get rid of Alligator Alcatraz. And he's pushing for that. I think this guy, he's just a squish, maybe he's a squish. And now he's saying that DHS is not proactive to secure the World Cup due to the shutdown. That they're not prepared for the World Cup. This is not good news, people. This is a problem. Not being ready for the World Cup is a major issue. It's a major problem. Major problem. Major problem. So DHS Secretary says shutdown hurt World Cup security. Homeland Security Secretary warned that a prolonged federal funding lapse has complicated preparations for the World Cup. Speaking at DHS press conference alongside Kansas City Rep Mark Alford and said that DHS still expects successfully provide security, but they just haven't been as proactive on putting these positions, those safety measures in place. So is this why, is this why they're still able to get is this part of the reason what happened at the White House Correspondents' Center, that they're not proactive? They can't stop stuff? Mullen said planning security operations for major events requires months of coordination. Secretary blamed the 76-day shutdown funding lapse. They really put the 600,000 people who are going to be at these matches, put their safety in jeopardy. That's what disgusts me. Mullen accused the Democrats of prioritizing open borders. Well, they did. They had opportunities to address the funding while controlling Congress during the Biden administration. Yeah. Hold the World Cup via Zoom. Fun fact, Mar-a-Lago is a blue district. Lois Frankel is our rep. Laura Loomer tried to unseat her years ago and failed. Yeah, well. Robust immigration enforcement is not a political issue. The concerns come as federal officials continue ramping up security, planning for one of the largest sporting events ever hosted in North America. The World Cup. Well, we've had World Cups here before. I remember there was a World Cup in Chicago. I could swear they had like matches in Soldiers Field and other places years ago. Not without a warrant, of course. What do you mean? Just too busy insulting AOC. No, not without warrant, of course. So she was warranted. So at this point, newly hired officers will not be able to work on the checkpoints until well after the FIFA World Cup. Left-wing activists and human rights groups have criticized the Trump administration for actually arresting illegal aliens. ACLU and Amnesty International and other organizations warned foreign visitors not to travel to the U.S. because they could face serious violations. Wake me when we host the Rugby World Cup. The creation of DHS was a huge mistake. It all did was create a larger, slower, dumber bureaucracy than what existed before, just the direction you wanted to move for your internal security force. Yeah, it's crazy. It is really crazy. But I hope everyone's safe. I really do. I hope everyone's safe at the World Cup. I hope there's no problems. I hope everything goes smoothly. I really do. But, what else are you going to do? Well, everybody, we went over 3 hours and 10 minutes. We did not hit the goal for the second hour. So with that, it's 2:30 in the morning. I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. I'll see everybody Monday night at 7 o'clock tomorrow, today, 7 o'clock, 7 p.m., immediately following Watching the Watchers with Robert Gavea. I will be on. I want to thank everybody who was here. Please remind you to hit the like. Please subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And come back tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern for Jim to tell you the news.